Welcome to the Paladins Summer Land Day 3. I'm Evan Rainday Rayner, and this is William Gormizer Newberry V. We're excited that you're joining us here for what may be one of the more historic matchups you may ever see in Paladins esports. At least that's what it was about 6 months ago in January when these two teams faced each other in HRX, Gormizer. They went to a best of 7, and it ended up deciding who would take a trip to the finals. Unfortunately, Latin America, at least for those rooting for them, didn't come out that one on top, and it was Navi. Will the same thing happen today?
Can you believe that was like only 6 months ago? Like it feels like
it was a world
ages
of time.
Ago.
Yeah, feels like an ice age ago.
And the way things have been going, I mean, all of these teams have improved, and I think that's the thing that's worth noting. Last time Burrito was here, they didn't have the performance they wanted, but yesterday, what was the finals that could have been? They beat Fnatic, and they make it not necessarily look easy, but they don't seem to have too rough of a time going through them. Now coming into this, you're looking at, well, Fnatic just beat Navi, Burrito just beat Fnatic. Theoretically, again, if math works here, Burrito should beat Navi, but that's never the way it tends to work.
No, it certainly isn't, and each matchup is its own isolated island that you fight on. And I think at this point, you got to say, both teams are equipped. They brought the right tools. This isn't exactly the Hunger Games or an RNG Battle Royale like Realm Royale. It's one of those where everybody is equipped to the teeth with a lot of weapons to be able to get the job done. And that's including Navi, who've added a new member in Lazy and have done very well this tournament.
And apparently have had a secret weapon in Mutu the entire time. Yesterday, apparently doing some of their drafts instead of Phoenix, who has been doing it for a long time. And I know Phoenix immediately afterward in the interview, they were like, man, we never should have actually said that because that's going to be the only thing that gets mentioned. But with the way things have been going, bringing in Lazy has made the team look really solid overall. It was one of those things that Unbelievable was really good there, but Lazy seems like it's just the better fit overall. A lot of flexibility, and it's allowed the rest of the team to flourish, and then you add in maybe a little bit of a different drafting style, and it's a little bit harder to predict them.
Yeah, it would have been an interesting story if Umbi had come through and actually taken that win and faced maybe Navi later on and said, hey, hello, I'm back. But we had a chance to catch up with the Latin American stars, Akate, and their new British, very British, not as British as Fox, but just almost, right on that. Right on par. In an interview here just a moment ago. So let's take a listen, Gore, and get some thoughts after that as to what Burrito and their manager said. Hey guys, it's obviously the Burrito crew, but a newer face, or a face you might have seen standing behind them. Swindy joining Akate here. I'd love to just get some thoughts on how both of you are feeling today, and starting with you, Swindy, how you feel about how the team's done thus far.
Well, I mean, we're hyped. Like, we beat Fnatic yesterday. We're, winners finals now, so we're crazy excited. We've got a good feeling. I'm really happy with how the team's doing, and hoping it's going to carry on right till the end.
Yeah, we are so hyped. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Everybody was, oh my god, we defeat Fnatic, the team that we study, because we learn from this team, and beating them, we respect so much. So we're so hyped. Coming to the finals at the upper bracket, now facing Navi, facing Motostina, Lazy, my brother. The competitive feeling is amazing. I want to play that match so badly, man.
One of the biggest staples for Burrito, specifically talking about you, Akate, is the ability to pull out some out-of-the-ordinary hit scan picks. Now, how long has things like Victor and Vivian been in the wheelhouse, or is that potentially just this might work, let's just give it a go?
I think it was always because from the PGS matches, I used to play sometimes Victor, Vivian, or whatever, or the snipers on every single map. So I'm always prepared to anything, no matter the team that I have in front. So those picks, I have it since a long time, definitely.
We've had some interviews where I may have to walk in here and say, no te preocupes, right? Don't worry.
No worries.
But you don't feel like you have any worries right now. And,
No.
and do you think that the whole team is and you, Swindy, as well, is this a boon? Is this good for you guys to feel this way going into this match?
I think we are really happy and we're not worried, we're not scared. Like, we want to play, we want to test again now against Navi. We want to win this tournament. So that's our mentality right there. There's no time to be scared or to feel nervous right now. We are in the same train.
Like, coming in from the last land specifically, like a few defeats kind of threw us off. Like, we came fourth at HRX back when these guys were Nocturnes, and then to go to the next land, it all seemed to fall apart. Like, coming into this, me personally, they brought me on as a coach, and I was like, pressure's on. Like we've got a lot of work to do from the last LAN and hopefully not have a repeat. And here we are.
It's worked. Maybe the British, the European in you is
The combination.
to defeat. Yes.
The calm
the most
British
daring
team.
crossover. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's all I think we have time for. Let's you get back to the game. Good luck, and of course, maybe we'll see you in the grand finals. That would be a treat.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Guys.
Take care. Well, I'm sure everybody had fun with that interview. They just seem really, really excited and energized.
And to me, like, that's a sign of someone who's like a really good competitor, right? It's not one of
Yeah.
those things like they don't want an easy win. They don't want something that's going to be like, yeah, well, of course we're going to make it in the finals. It's like we want to face this team because we know this team's really good. We're excited to play against a team that is our level, maybe better, and have that opportunity just to be able to face them, especially with how close they are.
I mean, I look at my favorite players that I've seen grow up competing, and I have to look at, Kobe Bryant, who's been like a mentor in terms of an inspiration for me and how he approaches competitive spirit. But when he was playing against Michael Jordan, man, you could see, like, there are actual videos where he is against Mike, and it's not about, oh, man, screw you, Mike. It's like, I'm honoring you by competing against you at my highest level because you are the level I want to achieve. And I think that's exactly what Nocturnes are mirroring. And I think that's, Burrito are mirroring. And I think that's what is so refreshing to see a team come in with not this like ego or not this slanderous type of mentality. Just, I want to appreciate how well you are and say that I've learned from you, and now I would love to surpass you. That would be awesome.
And with the way things have been going, they've been able to accomplish that with a lot of teams. Again, they were saying Fnatic was kind of the team that they learned from in the beginning. They were the ones that really drove them, I think, towards where they were towards Worlds.
That's right.
Now where they are now, and now they're looking at Navi in the same light, where it's just, you are the ones that are making us better. If we can beat you, we can consider ourselves up at the top.
Super cool. Well, we're ready for the maps and, of course, getting into the draft very, very soon. Here for what will be a historic and the only best of 5 y'all have basically seen all tournament. It's been a lot of best of 3s, but now this one's going to go a little bit longer, especially if the competition stays as tight. Notable, no Frog Isle and no Bright Marsh, 2 very consistent maps that we see in competitive play, but Stone Keep will be the first map selected.
And I think it's worth noting, Burrito, this is where they took Fnatic to make sure that they were able to win, but is something that in the post-game interview they revealed Fnatic, Navi love playing on this map. This is one of the maps they like going to because they can control it so well. So both of these teams, I would say, come in on equal footing for this one. There's no real big advantage. It all starts with the draft.
Well, Navi and Burrito going to be testing each other's ability to adapt, testing their ability to execute, and most often that execution level starts right in the ban phase. What are you anticipating, Burrito, to do as far as taking away something from Navi? Can it even be done?
You also get to see, I want to say how intimately the teams
that was a
know each
question,
other.
by the way.
Well, was it?
Yeah. What are Burrito looking
What are
to
they
take
looking
away
to take
from
away?
Navi?
Well, Leon. But this is, you get to see how intimately they know each other, right?
That's right.
And that's where the big question for me, right? Navi go for Khan and Makoa. Burrito go for Leon and Buck. I feel like that shows a little bit more knowledge. And that's the thing is, you're looking at taking away some of the staples. Maybe, like, you can't really target Lazy. He's going to play whatever.
Yeah.
You can't really target Phoenix, honestly, because I feel like he can play whatever. You have to look into those smaller little moments.
I think you're right. I mean, that Leon ban is a crucial flex for them. And it's something that Mutu can play well. It's something that, obviously creatives, if he needed to, could play. But Phoenix specializes on that tertiary damage dealer. And so it may slow the potential Genos 3 DPS role. Right now, Burrito are really confident. I mean, Puleole grabbing himself a Fernando early on, and I think you have a Furia hovered over and most likely locked in. That's a strong start for them.
Going to be able to come through. There's a lot that Burrito have had that I want to say they found success with, and it's kind of been mixed. Like, Furia is more successful overall, but it's just in that area where if you pick her too early or you pick her in the wrong area, she falls apart. She just doesn't do too well. I think Frog Isle is the one where it's like you can pretty much win all the time when you have her. Other maps, it gets a little bit shakier, so I'm curious as to how they're going to be able to handle it and being able to ban out Leon again, making sure it's a little safer for you overall to have that pick.
It's weird when you ban out a pick that's so strong for you. because it is also so strong for them in a different manner. I think Burrito are hoping to stay with some top picks here and maybe hurt Navi's ability to flex against these top picks, which the Leon would definitely be. If Navi want to get a little more flexible, they add that 3 DPS. If they want to go back to their roots, they keep that double front line. They keep Lazy on the Inara, and they maybe flex Phoenix onto something like a Khan. But because Phoenix is now no longer to do that, we really have seen him transition into the Shaolin, which hasn't been a big aspect of this meta. And I'm wondering, with the Bomb King locked in, which will most likely be for creatives, what do you expect coming out towards the end of this draft?
Now I'm actually kind of curious because Drogoz is not banned.
Yeah.
He's not been picked. And that's kind of where Navi have been driving themselves for a lot of this tournament. So coming through, I'm wondering if Burrito want to pick that up. And if so, if Navi might end up kind of taking a note that Burrito was able to pull out during Worlds, where maybe you're looking for someone, maybe not a sniper, but hit scan to try and deal with that dragon.
Assuming the way these drafts have gone, you're right now looking at basically Phoenix and either Mutu or creatives getting picks. You would assume Lazy would be on that Inara. And now if they're going with the Genos and they're flexing the triple DPS, the Zen is a nice, easy pick, and that's what they're going to do. So the Shaolin, a comfort pick for Phoenix, seems to be what Navi are betting on, and I think that's a smart pickup as Burrito lock in the Fernando and Barrick, both strong frontline choices for them.
And honestly, Shaolin, again, I feel like has been kind of overlooked for a lot of this tournament. There's a lot of moments where it's just like, do we pick him up? Navi are kind of the ones in my mind that make the most sense to be picking it up.
Oh, hold on.
They've been hovering it the whole time.
You know what? Screw you, production.
No, I think Phoenix does it every single time. I feel like they put him at the bottom, and he goes and he's like, guys, what if? Just like, what if? Can we?
Yeah.
And everyone says no.
All right. Well, we're hearing actually that Phoenix does hover it every single time. But I feel like he's trolling production to help troll us so that we mention it on broadcast. That's my opinion. Because he hasn't picked it, right?
No, they haven't picked it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I actually wouldn't mind.
And you already got the Shaolin. What are you doing? You're playing Shaolin. You're not playing Zen. You're not. But I think creatives could have shifted over into the Shaolin. That would have been fine if they did go the Tyra route. But I think the Zen is really where they want to lean. He's been so effective with this triple DPS.
And I'm excited to see it again, Navi going for the Bomb King instead of the Drogoz, which I think is something they've been kind of pushing towards Mutu a little bit more often. Well, I like seeing the change just because I feel like Drogoz has gotten not necessarily overplayed, but everyone kind of has the feel for him right now, right? And so if you can get a good way to counter that, that's going to be the thing that gives you the big leg up. The problem I have is that they didn't really get anything that I think counters that in the air. Shaolin is going to have a little bit more trouble, but I think he's the best to try and hunt him down.
Well, there's definitely some opportunity for Drogoz to be vulnerable, especially if you have lights out performances from creatives and Phoenix and Mutu, but it's all up to the performance now. Drafts look pretty clean to me on both sides, so let's send it away to the casters to determine Game 1 and who wins.
I hold shift with Vox here for the call. This nice and hot best of 5.
We ready for it out here, Chip. We're really ready for it here.
Feeling good, feeling great. How are you? We'll see how Burrito decides to take this one. I will say this is going to be a really tall task, I think, for the Shaw and the Bomb King to try to keep tabs on this Drogoz.
It will be as well. And the last pick, Drogoz shift, I don't know how to feel about that. It's been such a priority pick
Seems
throughout
strange, right?
a lot of the tournaments, seeing that come through super late, about as late as it can get. Really, this is also Burrito going, well, we can get away with it, but oh, look at that, it's a Fusillade Drogoz as well. Relatively standard legendaries, talents coming through for everybody on the board. Shaolin trying to set up just to knock one arrow, and that Fury almost going down, so a good start. But look at this, Puliuli taking positioning to knock creatives off the high ground.
Yeah, really good timing from the Shaw just to get those opening shots, and Puliuli, like you mentioned, on this high ground, trying to set things up for the Drogoz, poke down low, but we'll get healed up. It will be Fuzzy Logic low, though, and Phoenix actually able to find the first kill. Akate now in a little bit of trouble as Zin has worked his way around the backside. Still on the point, Puliuli trying to hold on as Navi's got 45%, just the 12% for Burrito, and there is trading happening in the side of the blue team of Navi, and Mutu actually very low. Can Akate find the last shot?
Look at this chase, and actually Mutu tries to go into surprise. They know that Kratos is here, and Kratos does get the trade right there, so 1 for 1 so far, but it's 63%, 69 for Navi as Lazy's just doing Inara things on the point, and Fuzzy Logic has been unable to displace them so far.
Look at the spread, though, from the front line of Puliuli and Sadhak. The Barrack is setting up up near the top while Fernando pushes right over towards the tap issue side. He's getting low. The Lazy doing a very good job today of keeping the pressure on and trying to find a way to keep these frontliners away from him. But he's also very dangerously low, and Fuzzy Logic gets the kill. So we're in overtime, but it's time for the retake for Burrito.
It's Crimson going on to the objective there again. It's just the Fusillade Drogos. No big AoE damage from the combustible fire spit shift, and Burrito Esports take a full-on wipe. Navi close out the first capture.
And there's just so much mobility to dodge these rockets from Drogos. It makes me wonder if it wouldn't have been a better choice to go with the combustible. It kind of feels like Fuzzy was saying, I'm going to hit these rockets on a Nara. Let's get the frontliner completely negated away. But the problem is Phoenix has been on point so far with the Shaolin.
It's Phoenix. It's also Spunky, who's not died yet so far. No pressure really coming through. And also, Creatives and the Bomb King is 4-0, I think, at this point from what we just saw. There we go. There's the fire spit. Even without combustible, DOT still doing a truck of damage right there. And Burrito Esports able to stabilize. Navi, though, they all go back to base. They pick up some mid-round buys. I'm expecting at least a Cauterize and Record 2 out of them.
You're going to get exactly that. Record 2 for Shaolin for Phoenix, and a couple instances of the Cauterize. Only one of them getting improved from Creative.
Actually, Creatives hasn't died yet. Neither has Spunky,
That's
so they're
true.
still unable to get mid-round buys, but they're still just out here fragging 7 and 8 streak likewise, as well as stacking up the King Bomb ultimate, as well as Heat Haze. I want to see that Heat Haze used to capitalize on the confusion that maybe a King Bomb could provide.
Absolutely, and that's going to be the big combination, is finding a way to get this King Bomb off safely. Withdrawing into the line of sight is Phoenix, looking for, it's going to be Sadhak. He gets Void gripped up in the midair, but does he have enough to survive? Looks like he does just barely, but Mudu's on the scent. Doesn't even need to cancel the billow. It's a full team wipe for Navi, and that's exactly the kind of start that they wanted. They're pushing this payload even closer. Burrito will get a chance to contest, but my goodness, it's been the story of Phoenix so far, nearing the 21k damage mark.
I think if Burrito want to contest this, they're going to have to commit ultimates to it. It's going to be Puliuli who goes out there. Here comes down Immortal, trying to keep people alive. Lazy is in a bit of trouble here, gets burned down by Fuzzy Logic, but Mutu takes out Puliuli, so that's a good look so far. Here comes Heat Haze from Phoenix. One shot, two shot, that is Fudgy Logic down that shift as well. Looks for Hecate. Hecate has that number though, and this is the Cassie's safety coming through.
Really good positioning from Hecate immediately after the seismic crash. Lazy let it go right in front of the base for Burrito, thinking that might be enough time delay to get them that final push. Hecate rolls out towards the outside and is able to find some nice shots to keep everybody low, giving, of course, the side of the Barrack by Sadhak some chance to actually set up some of those turrets.
Now this is interesting. Hecate actually has enough money in their pockets right now, enough credits to go for a mid-run by a Cauterize 2. Saving that is likely running kinetics should be enough to really hold this defense down. Creatives gets brought down very low as well, and look at this, 8 seconds to go shift. Who's going to be able to get there to touch it, push it into overtime?
Someone needs to get Hecate off the high ground first and foremost. He's in a good spot, so is Fuzzy, just raining down terror from the left side, and no one's going to touch in time. Not exactly the worst case scenario you would have liked to have seen if you're a Navi fan, to give them a go. Just, you know, step on it, trigger the overtime, see if you can make something happen. Not the case here.
It was a really interesting moment, actually, just because of the fact that Lazy put the impasse wall up to break line of sight between them and the payload, which no longer actually breaks payload contest, but then backed away from it far enough that they weren't contesting anymore. So Navi kind of giving that one up. I think it might have been nice for them to try, but at that point, you're just giving ultimate charge towards your enemies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really nothing lost here. Nothing gained, nothing lost. You can see the damage numbers again. Very even between the 3 and the 5 line, almost exactly where you'd like to see it, but it's Shaolin, again, that's really been the standout. For me, looking at the draft, I was like, man, this Shaolin's going to have a great game, and so far, Phoenix is providing that.
Well, here's the difficulty right now, is that every time from this first point onwards that Phoenix goes into Heat Haze, there should be a scout to counter them out. Hecate's just going to be able to charge that up much more frequently. And here we go, up to the high ground. Control taken by Burrito. Straight to the objective is Nazy, and Navi just back up. They've already disengaged. They're not even engaging as Mutu's trying to scout out where Hecate is.
Beautiful peel back from Navi. And Nara's getting free capture, and Burrito wanted to get the backline kills. Navi didn't give him the chance, so now Lazy has to be smart about how he positions here. He's getting low, and everyone's thinking, oh, look at him. Oh, could he get the heal, though? The Dome Shield comes out just to keep Sadhak alive, and it's good enough for 1. How about 2? Third time in space, not going to connect. It's going to be 3 for the side of Burrito, and looking to clean up the 4th, a midair shot just for a little insult to injury, as Hecate is the one who finds the double.
Oh my goodness, right there, Shift. That was beautiful play, but if that Dome Shield had been a fraction of a second later, that would have been bye-bye Fuzzy Logic. Great reaction time coming through from Burrito Esports so far. Navi looking to re-engage now, but a Dragon Punch preemptively is coming out, trying to find somebody. It takes out Lazy. That's huge, and Mutu's forced to disengage.
Yeah, he was caught in the backline for way too long. The Creatives does win the Blaster battle versus Fuzzy, but still 84%, still counting up for Burrito, and I don't know who's going to be able to touch in time. Mutu's Natus going to give it a go, but that was before the overtime's going to trigger, and I think this might just be a free pass. Someone did hit that mark, and now Inara's back to contest. Overtime it is. Heat haze in effect. Here comes the King Bomb from the high ground.
Could be huge here. Lazy's bought space around here. Sardak gets almost burned down, but whoa! Rocket Boot save. Beautiful stuff coming through there. That's the power of bowling ball shift, as well as Crimson on this Furia, forcing everybody away. Burrito Esports find the double kill from Fuzzy. Mutu will answer back with one, though, but it's a single Zin contesting 1v3, and Puli Uli has their number.
Really well played from Crimson to make sure he stayed out of line of sight from Bomb King, not only during the channel, but also after it started to roll. He kept that high ground, kept his teammates safe. The rocket boots were so clutch for Sadhak on the barrack, keeping him alive with that little bit of a shield. And now it's Burrito for the first time this game on the offense.
Can we take a look actually at specifically Barrack's loadout? As I think I'd love to see what's kind of going on here as well. It's failsafe is the big one here, as well as Brave and Bold. Look at that, 70% crowd control and slow reduction. That's how they got out of that big King Bomb stun so quickly, and just enough to be able to reset Bowling Ball a couple of times to ninja around, have that extra shield, and get back to safety just like that.
It's the little things that matter. Card choice here, card choice there. If that's not at 70%, does he live? We will never know. He gets out of it once again as Phoenix tries to plan up to find the last shots, but again, a Cherish from behind from the Furia will keep him right back into full, but this is the big contested spot right now. They need to find a way, does Burrito, to get this high ground. Fuzzy's, of course, is out the window to move on through. Hecate finds a big pick on the Phoenix, and now Mutu's in a little bit of trouble taking a Fusillade rocket. He's low, trying to billow out, but does he have enough space? It doesn't look like it. He's just going to contest for a little bit more of a delay just to get the defense set up.
And that's okay, because the rest of Navi, they're a little bit staggered out on their respawns. Contesting for a couple of seconds, Mutu will be, maybe 3 seconds behind, but they're holding the payload, allowing Navi to better get out of base and establish a choke point hold here, which is exactly what Lazy is trying to do on the Inara, locking off this angle, locking off this little room here where Puliuli is trying to get through, as well as controlling the main space, but big fireball comes through. Planted did come out as well, but nobody dies just yet. Mutu's unable to find anybody. Might be able to pick up Fuzzy Logic here.
Dragon Punch did come out as well, but he pulled the trigger and kind of retreated back and didn't find a kill. It was a really good impasse wall from Lazy to negate that, possibly from being a death onto him. Mutu now in the back line looking to clean up this last bit of fight, but it does not look like anyone is actually going to push onto Hecate, but whoa, with that third strike from Yomi, maybe now through the staircase. Are you kidding me? Mutu cleans up Hecate at a very large stagger.
And you can shoot through the gap between those slats, but I've never seen a Yomi strike all the way through a shift. That's a learning experience for me right there, and a good pickup for Mutu as ultimate charge credits from the streak. 16 for Hecate, now back to 0, and with 20 seconds left, Burrito Esports have one more chance of re-engaging. Meanwhile, though, Mutu is ready and waiting to catch somebody off guard from behind.
He's poking them all like they're pin cushions right now. Vox he's got all this high ground for free, and everyone's gonna have to rotate right in front of his line of sight. Fortunately, Puliuli gets up top with Fuzzy, but they don't find anything really all that significant. Oh, Crimson gets impaled against the wall and gets taken away by Phoenix, who finds himself a second kill. Mutu in the back now cleaning up. Phoenix planning, looking for a third, but it will be enough to help Mutu get the kill. Overtime will fade away. We're staying this one at a draw, 2-2.
And that just seemed to be Burrito Esports a little bit more spread out than they would have possibly liked to be right at the end there, partially to do with the fact that Mutu did spread him like butter. Forced focus to go from the main objective area where they managed to get a kill onto Lazy with Fuzzy Logic's Drogos, and then drew attention away from that. Great impale as well onto Crimson. Still managed to get the Cherish off and the heal onto Hecate, but I mean, there's not much you can do in the face of 3 excellent damage dealers from Navi.
That was the smallest of silver linings, I think, to that death. Oh, at least I got a Cherish off on you, buddy.
80k, by the way. Shaolin doing some serious work. Shaolin, a good pick in the face of Cassie right now. This is impressive play shift, and Phoenix is sitting on a Wrecker 3 right now, which I love in the face of this Barrack, in the face of Fernando. Something we saw at the Paladins HRX Invitational in 2016 is as soon as that shield goes up, Shaolin Plant's shield goes down, Fernando only has the fireball left to really do stuff with that kit.
Trying to time out the through time and space. Not going to find any kills, but I think they may have found some damage. That combined with the planted from Shaolin. Notably, Shaolin still 0-4 in the tournament, even though it was close to a win yesterday when Burrito played them against Fnatic. But so far here, Phoenix having a much more dominating performance, able again withdraw writing out of the way of Fuzzy Logic, who cannot connect the direct shot. Seismic Crash coming into the keep, and it's Fuzzy Logic trying to respond with a Dragon Punch, but he really can't contest. Waits for a shield, trying to find a kill, but it's going to be a reposition, and that's not a favorable position as he finds himself right in front of Phoenix once again.
Oh my goodness, and look at the disengage as Inflame came through. Navi just spread apart. They forced Burrito to overcommit and overcommit all of their positioning, their resources coming through. Navi are able to play Burrito Burrito Esports like a fiddle there, Shift, and now they're rising 60% and climbing on the objective. 2-2, all tied up, but this could be a potential push to close out game.
I think against anybody else, that strategy right there, that execution call for Burrito works. But the fact of the matter is, Mutu is in the backline for free. Phoenix is having an incredible performance, and Navi just responds so nicely. Able to find Crimson in the backline. One more stun over here. Phoenix with the double. Phoenix with the triple. Can he find the quad? He won't take the last shot, but goodness gracious, that is a lot of damage once again from Phoenix.
And this just shows what the power of Shaolin is in the right hands here, Shift. This is showing what happens also when you've got this Luminary Janus as well. So many people right now are able to build into Haven very early due to innate anti-heal, but Burrito Esports, they've got a Drogoz, might be running Follow the Sun, Cassie's running Kinetics, but they're not able to prioritize Haven over Cauterize in the face of this Inara. As a result, Shaolin is going unmitigated, and that damage is fierce. 2 shots to kill on plenty of the damage champions as long as you get that withdraw bonus damage off from Desert's Shadow. And now as Navi do retreat and reset right here, we're going to have to see how they approach this next team fight to break the choke.
They need to find a way to get up high, although Sadak in a bad spot, using the spike just to move forward. Can Mutu find the last shots? No, he's forced to whirl away. A nice Pyre Strike came through just to gain some separation. Sadak stays alive, but meanwhile, on the right side high ground, Creatives is up here. He's taking a look at Puliuli as well as Sadhak. The one will fall, the second getting low, but now looking at the back line for some damage. Look at this peel. There's so much separation between the front and the back that Lazy's able to clean up 2 more. Navi getting themselves 3 more kills and a lot of free push.
And a lot of stagger as well. Look at this, 5 seconds between the frontliners coming back up. Burrito Esports get at least through this choke point for free. Now, they might have to hold off a little bit. Navi aren't going to be able to push all the way through here. Sadak is back. Puliuli has returned right now, but Burrito were not in a good position because of that. Good poke on a Phoenix initially. Out comes the planted Impaler stun as well. Grumpy Bomb sets up potential kill on a Puliuli, but Kratos can't really follow up from down on the low ground there. Instead, looking for damage on a Fuzzy Logic here, Shift, as this Drogoz has been a real thorn in the side of Navi once they're able to close the gap and hit these direct rockets.
You know, this is where the problem of Navi's comp comes into play with only having the solo frontline against a double frontline. Puliuli is able to stay up top very early in the defense, and then when he figures out that, well, A, nobody's there, or B, I can push them off, then he can rotate back down. Lazy does not have the ability of getting to this high ground because he has to be on the point. There's nobody else tanky enough to do it, so I'm going to say a little bit of a misplay there from Creatives, not getting high ground control, not bringing anybody with him. It just sets up a very easy defense for Burrito as they're able to push back Navi.
It's either Bomb King Xin or it's Bomb King Shaolin. And honestly, the Xin has more survivability. That's what you want to put on the high ground here and lead the Shaolin to use this line of sight where Mutu is right now to try and poke people out, but Phoenix is looking through the main entrance here, trying to find damage on a Fuzzy Logic, who does drop down a salvo. Puliuli trying to box out with Lazy, who's on the high ground now, just trying to clear people off, but what are you going to do? Here comes the seismic crash on a Puliuli, and Maul is available, does not come out there as Kratos finds 2, and actually Navi's starting to be able to snowball this one as well. Burrito, they got a lot of missing members, and it's just a Dome Shield bracing them away from this push.
Was so big though. Creatives came out of nowhere to get to the high ground after that seismic crash, which looked like it wasn't going to do very much at all, but Fuzzy Logic is back alive, and this is that parallel that you're talking about. Either you're on the high ground or you're on the low ground. You can't be both for Navi. The overtime will finish away, and now we're going into the last round, 3-3.
It is all tied up here, Shift, and this was just what Mutu was doing in the face of so many people, but look at that disengage. Inflame on the high ground, everybody else spread out. Who are you going to focus down as a target? Absolutely nobody, they say. Mutu able to pick up an easy double kill right there, Shift, and has just been ice cold so far throughout this game.
He's always ice cold. Look at that. Looks like another day at the office for this guy.
Pretty much, you know, it's just... I mean, Mutu's got enough LAN experience at this point with at least a whole year coming around that he's just like, all right, put me down in front of a computer, everything else goes out, blinders go on, I have my teammates right next to me, and they might punch me in the shoulder if I make a wrong move instead of something else, but here we go.
Goodness gracious,
40,000
damage difference between first and second.
Shaolin, by the way.
Insane.
This is like a ranked Shaolin right now from a couple of patches ago, Shift. We're not used to seeing Shaolins of this caliber come on through, but look at this as well. Rejuvenate 3, helping get a bit more bang for your buck out of the Genos throughput healing, which just otherwise isn't that significant. So a good job here so far on the objective. 50% to Navi from Lazy. Burrito Esports looking to find a way in, but Mutu's taking the high ground. Spikes just to get Fuzzy Logic. Down they go to Creative. Sadhak, though, will trade out, and that's huge with Lazy being evaporated.
100% worth it, because now Mutu's in the backline. Hekate has yet to turn. He gets melted too quickly. He gets slapped as well, does Crimson. Sadak's the last one left alive on the point. He's going to use the rocket boots to delay, but he will get taken down, but still, not a bad job from Burrito. That team fight did not go their way whatsoever. They ended up still getting 21%, while Navi is just going above 50 now.
Still an incredible tag team from Mutu Mutu and Creatives on this Sin, on this Bomb King. One sets him up, Bomb King knocks them down, and Puleuli now sets up with the Dragon Punch, looking for the Xin of all people, who has the immunity from 2 different moves. Fuzzy Logic surely to fall here. Cherish Heal is big though, but in comes King Bomb. Creative cements their doom. Mutu finds Puleuli, and it's looking like it's already over. Shifter Sadhak finds one, but how are they staying alive? These bowling ball resets. That might be it, but Crimson goes in, contests overtime. Will there be any respawn here? It's Drogo's, but they're
like
too far away.
Goodness, what a big misplay from Fuzzy. He goes for the Xin, as you mentioned. He has 2 different abilities that he can use to negate that. He had an Inara lined up in front of him.
Out of everybody, when they have counter and Billow,
yeah.
I think it was just the placement of the Immortal. I think Inara might have been slightly out of range, where Fuzzy could have been at risk of just being detonated by Bomb King. But at that point as well, it's a combination play. It's go, well, we got to focus the objective, put the Immortal closer at that point, just to be able to get yourself on, because Lazy's been really the weak point in the draft for Navi, not as an individual player, but just, as you mentioned, this solo frontliner who can't be in 2 places at once.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Can't be in 2 places at once, and that last push, watching Fernando push through with Drogos on that high ground to get into that Tapestry Church, it just didn't look very coordinated. It just felt like, okay, we have to do something. Let's just go and hit the E key and hope that something happens, and it just didn't that time.
It's 3-2-1, get on the point. Overtime is about to start ticking. We've got to do something here, and Burrito, maybe a little bit of panic coming through there, folks. Not as coordinated as we have seen them so far. I did like a lot of their earlier point fights.
Yes.
They did put up a good job there, especially on defense, but I keep on asking myself, would have something been a little bit different there if it had been a combustible instead of a fuselage? So many missed opportunities from Fuzzy because he didn't have that big AoE.
It all comes down to the small choices. That time, it tilts in favor of Navi, but again, this is a best of 5. Not even close to over yet. Let's get a wrap-up before we get into Game 2 from the desk.
Well, I'm so excited that we have more of this set. It just makes me so happy. It's like you know that you've just got 20 presents under the tree on Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate, and you just open your first. You're like, this is great, and I've got a lot more.
And the way they played it like that, I don't think there's a better way to start it off than going 3-3 and to the point where you're going into the last round like, man, anyone could win this. It just comes down to a couple of small things. Really looking at that ult from Fuzzy, I think, was the big difference. Like going for Xin instead of Anar or literally anyone else is one of those key moments where it's just like, you didn't get a kill out of this, your ult's gone, and Navi know it, they can abuse it.
Yeah, and we look at that, but I want to break down more of how they got there, because there was one ultimate also missed in the round prior where, after winning that first or the second objective, it looked really, really strong for Burrito to come in and win the third, but he misses the Dragon Punch. He goes into it and is about to fire off and gets a huge splash of damage onto him. So he waits under the staircase, gets a Cherish Bubble, and then at that point, the Dragon Punch has already had a couple seconds burned off. He ends up going out, not hitting anyone, and then dying immediately. If he would have stayed alive there, you never know the pressure that Inara would have had, and I think that was also a big moment. Just 2 key Dragon Punches missed in 2 rounds.
And a lot of it was kind of the discussion at the very beginning of that game, and there were moments where Fusillade worked wonders, and there were moments where it's like, man, a combustible right there would have been perfect for you. But one of the things that went really well for Navi has to have been Phoenix. Like, it was one of those things, you had one job, which was really kind of hunt down Drogos, and you did that and then some. And
I think it was Phoenix, really who actually applied that burst. I don't know who else on the side of, of Navi, unless maybe a Luminary, Genos, third swing on Yomi. But I feel like it had to have been Phoenix with that 1250 burst in round 3 as well. So he's just been playing such a vital role for them. Stonekeep is a map that Navi looked really, really good on, as well as Burrito. But this is definitely one to look at, and you can really look it down maybe more as mechanical errors rather than drafting or rather than playing the point the wrong way or the right way. Simply hit their shots and hit their ults.
It's just those small things. And again, Shaolin, who has been glanced over, I think, this entire tournament. That was a good showcase as to why he used to be picked all the time, why Navi are the ones who I think I've always kind of treasured him, and being able to play. They have 3 people on that team who can play it incredibly well now, so being able to flex that, and that's just the 3 that are usually flexing on DPS right now, let alone the other 2. So being able to bring that in and have it go in a matchup that a lot of people have been saying, well, Cassie's the reason that you don't see a lot of Shaolin unless you can get them on the same team, worked out well there.
Very, very much so. And again, we'll see how well they're willing to dip into the champion pools as we're ready for map number 2 in this best of 5. Serpent Beach will be the selection. Navi winning game number 1, 4-3, and now taking a 1-0 lead. Will obviously try to make that a 2-0 as they head to what I would assume is Burrito's map. However, I will hope to be corrected if that is not the case. And it is confirmed to be Burrito's map, so Navi kind of hold home court there.
This is going to be interesting to see how Burrito changed their draft, right?
Yeah.
The last game, they ban out Leon, they ban out Buck. And it's one of those things that it's like, okay, those are two things that are really good for Navi.
Right.
But Bomb King goes through creatives, even though he hasn't been playing a whole lot of it lately, still has an impressive Bomb King. Phoenix still has a great Shaolin. It's just those things where you can't really target any one of them. Maybe if you're trying to make a weak link again, you want to focus maybe on Lazy, because you know they're more than likely going to go for a solo frontline. And you can kind of guide where that goes, but there's just so many top bans right now.
There are.
You have to decide, what do we want?
And on Serpent Beach, too, you have a couple of different questions to ask yourself about how you want to control the pace of the fight, as there are a lot of ways to push this. I mean, a sniper is not an unrealistic choice for either Burrito or Navi to dive into, with Mudasina and Akate, players that could aptly perform if given the chance. Buck banned out for Burrito, and now Navi have their first ban.
I actually like that, because coming through,
Buck?
Buck is one of those things that Burrito have been performing well with. It. Sadok was able to flex onto that and make a big difference, but depending on what they're thinking in their heads right now of what do they want for that first pick, they don't want to give Navi the Buck. And when you run just a little bit of leg day, he jumps around too much on this map, has way too much control, that it's a lot more difficult to shut down. You can't just shut down his healing and hope for it. His damage is going to cut you off.
And I think now you're seeing the Bomb King taken away, which gives a little bit of an idea of how much Burrito felt threatened by that. And it is such a flexible pick. I mean, for creatives and Mutu, both have prior experiences in playing with it. With the Buck ban and the Strix ban, you wonder if Burrito are being baited by Navi to grab something like a Kinessa. Navi have to be familiar with their sniper history, so I wonder if Navi had a plan to go against it if that was what they chose.
I'm kind of thinking there are multiple facets to that, right? Like,
could it be the first Eevee? Just kidding.
we're gonna ban Strix so that you have to decide how badly do you want that sniper. Are we gonna grab the sniper away from you? Try to trick them into grabbing it if that's their strategy. And then Burrito are also in this circumstance where it's not gonna be the best pick all the time. You have to get Kinessa in the right spot if you are gonna go for her. But because of the history on it, I mean, that is one of the reasons they have dominated on a lot of these maps, is having that presence before. Hecate has just such a great shot when given the opportunity.
Now, I don't mind Leon here. I mean, I think you could easily grab a Shaolin or Leon, seeing how well Navi is flexed onto this. But I think the Leon has grown as a great pick for Burrito because of the fact that it denies Navi that tertiary flex, forces Phoenix onto something like a Shaolin if they want to play that way. And then it also is great on Hecate or Fuzzy Logic. They don't know who this is going to. They could be looking for Hecate's pick in the last two. So Navi have to gamble a little bit whether the sniper is off or still on the table.
And it gives them that wiggle room to be able to pick, again, a little bit more counter, maybe another flank, another front line, depending on where they want to go with it. Khan, I expect to be kind of the side tank overall, so I'm expecting they're still looking for something for Pule Ule. That's more likely like a Sadok kind of pickup, but there's a lot of flexibility on Burrito, so there's really no guarantee that that's the way they're going to go. A couple teams have run Khan solo successfully.
And there's no way you could ban out, these next, or pick out these next choices. And this is what it's going to be, the Zen and the Cassie, and they need a healer. So it's only really a flex like a Pip that would change what Burrito have going. If they were going to take a sniper, all their cards have been shown, and this would be the moment. However, Gore waiting a little bit. Seems like it's more of a tense decision here on these last two.
I mean, you're playing the game. You have Leon already, who can deal with Drogos. Kinessa can deal with every single person on that lineup. But Zen can get around a little bit easier, especially if you're going something like Leon Kinessa, so it's a little bit more difficult to try and shut him down. And so I like the idea. Keep it hit scan, but switch it away from the sniper, maybe get a little closer.
And this is what they do, because Navi, without the Genos, although they could still pick that up, I feel like there was a potential to transition into something that, might have scared them a little bit more with that Pip. I think they feel with the two front lines now that at least if one would have gotten Evil Mojo'd in that sense that he got picked up, they would be able to deal with it, and especially with some of the success we've seen Barrick hold throughout the rest of this tournament.
And now you're going to be running it. I actually love, Barrick Khan together. You get a lot. I think this lineup for Navi is something we would have seen into spring, going into summer, right? It's the very standard. We've got a Nara, 3 DPS, and a Genos to augment all their damage. But I feel like Burrito are kind of playing against that. They've got the anti-heal. They've got stuff to get rid of the Drogos to deal with the Cassie. And it's going to be execution-based this time we saw Androxus, and the last time we've seen Androxus. Sometimes he works well, sometimes he falters.
I don't know. Yeah, fuzzy logic. Is he going to perform? That's who I would expect to see on the Andro in this game as Game 2 gets underway here on Serpent Beach. Let's send it to Alan and Vox to finish it off.
Thank you, Evan and Gore. For me, I think Fuzzy at this point in time is going to have the best Androxus performance in the history of Paladins to win this game.
I don't think that it's possible, honestly. I know that it was Mutu not pacing shots very well, which led to a lot of inaccuracy problems when we saw Navi pull this out previously. I would have preferred to see a Willow. Straight up here, I think that the counterflank potential that Nightshade brings you, as well as the elevation, and also the point denial would have been far superior to the Andro here. But again, it is, as we heard, it is all execution-based. If maybe this is Fuzzy Logic's best game ever, if he hits nothing but headshots, it could be a little bit different. Nakate as well, running the precision here, not the death and taxes, going for more of this duelist style where they can reload off of Grace.
And I actually kind of like that going into a Geno specifically because, again, you don't have to worry about taking Wrecker against the Inara. You don't have to worry so much about the innate cauterize. Get the extra DPS because Fuzzy's going to need the space to maneuver. You can see how patiently he's playing, staying on the left side high ground before he rotates. Take a couple of pot shots over at Lazy. Only 2 of the 6 so far hit. Not the start you want to see. And now putting himself in a very vulnerable spot up front. He does catch a heal, a little bit of damage boost, but someone has to contest Lazy, finally getting some shots onto her, but it's already 51%.
And this is why we say, folks, you've got to pace your shots as Andro, because you're not seeing the reticle bloom being replicated right now in this spectator mode, but there is a lot of inaccuracy coming through. It's really to Akate now to be able to hit these long-range shots, forcing back creatives, but again, Navi just take control. They have the high ground, they have the fire spits as well. Here comes the Cherish heal from the side of your Crimson on Burrito Esports, but what a Void Grip. Nice use of CC immunity with Fire Line to get there just in time to contest with overtime, but Sadak's got to get on there to tag team in because Khan was so low.
And Fuzzy needs to get in this backline and start putting some pressure on. And that battle versus Cassie is not typically one he's going to win. Oh, he almost got the full headshot off. Pulioli able to come back through, help out against Lazy. So no frontliner for the side of Navi, which is going to result in a lot of pressure here on the point for Burrito. But really, they need more high ground here, Vox.
Absolutely. They got to get up and displace Mutu more than anything else. But look at that firing line. Bonus damage coming on through right there. Out comes Scout from Cassie, though. Phoenix setting up to be able to land shots on a Pulioli here. Beautiful shield, though, comes through. Pulioli just about able to escape around the corner. Here will come through as well, using that Pyre Strike for a bit of that.
What?
But hello, backdoor comes on through. Doesn't matter, Fuzzy. It's already over.
It was like you saw what Lazy was doing. He was walking to point because he had to contest. And yeah, it just... I'm confused on how nobody was able to touch there. A really big moment for Burrito. Again, missed. They cannot be making these kind of mistakes against Navi. You can see how they're cleaning up this fight. They just need someone to touch point before, and this could very well be 50% plus on the payload push for Burrito, but instead, it's Navi looking at the scoreboard with the bonus 300 credits.
Yeah, I've not really got much to say that there's a good thing to be able to take from this. The one thing that I will say is that actually Fuzzy Logic going in there, trying to box out with Cassie and dive to be able to turn around that initial point fight was a really nice kind of like, I'm going to use my life as a bait. I'm going to draw focus away so we can just take down this Inara early on. But so far, Burrito Esports, I mean, there's only 2 deaths on their entire team so far. In comes the Androxus Accursed Arm as Dragon Punch's channel. Mutu will cancel that early, throw out a Fire Spit, which hits nobody. In a lot of trouble now is still on the high ground. Akate could claim their life.
Very well salvaged here from Burrito because they used a very awkward Inflame to try to get some poke and damage done to Lazy, who was able to just get line of sight break and stay away from it. But then you saw that Dragon Punch, not able to find anything and gets punished as well. So again, a little bit of not much here, not much there for either team as finally Navi get themselves to contest the payload. But Sadhawk has got himself some turrets set up and he is selling nothing but a little bit of damage as he hits this left-hand side.
Watch out for that Fire Spit coming up over the top again. Displaces Sadhawk, might be forced to use the Dome Shield here. Needs to get out somewhere. Fuzzy Logic, though, finds one. Looking for Phoenix. Has the big reversal, but Spunky shuts him down from behind. Easy cleanup for Navi right now as Akate as well should fall to Spunky for the double kill. And now the payload push will continue as Sadhawk falls to Spunky doing the... You can't take the DPS mentality out of this player.
A little fortunate. The Void Grip was the one that got the last tick there, but regardless, I'm sure he'll take the triple kill for the highlight reel.
Absolutely. You know, it's just all in portfolio, right? As well as making sure that through time and space is fully charged right now. Could be used to break the defenses of Burrito Esports as they do set up to try and hold on this next available choke point. But creators with his long distance Yomi strikes is causing them trouble, and it's high ground control that Burrito are looking for right now.
Both teams actually looking for that high ground right over the top of the payload, being being very nicely shut down by Burrito at the moment, but you can see Mudu putting a lot of pressure on. Sadok forced the rocket boots away, but he's got Lazy low right in front of him. If Lazy falls, that'd be bad. Fuzzy Logic soaked up a lot of that salvo. Not able to send it back, though. So it will just be a trade for trade. Overtime in effect. Creative's on his way back. Crimson able to find himself one. Akate looking for the Enlightenment, but his target was already punished, and that will just be a wasted ultimate. But still, the defense successful. 1-1 goes the score.
So, all tied up, and against Navi's composition like this, I don't think you can afford as Burrito to let them snowball out of control. The real danger comes through now, Shift, with the fact that Navi have all 5 ultimates ready, and you've just seen Enlightenment used. I'm not sure what else is missing for the side of Burrito. Maybe the Inflame. We'll have to take a quick look as we do get back in the game, but Spunky, really the player of the hour right now. On support, always looking for that extra bit of damage where he can.
The power is in the beard. Has to be.
Something like that as well. And that Navi
Or that
cap.
awesome flat brim, dude.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. I'm gonna have to give me one of those.
Yeah, so much
Just in support. Oh, Crimson, by the way, no death so far. Fury are playing very, very safe
By the
this time
way.
around. Not much of a participation in terms of damage as you might expect, but notably above the Androxus here.
Yeah.
Fuzzy Logic unable to be much of a threat in these fights.
And the thing is, there were moments in those fights that he was able to get into the backline and be a disruptive element. But again, you can see that's also what Creatives is doing. And his damage numbers are much better through time and space. Will
Good
thread the
split.
needle, not find anything. Mudu getting a little aggressive there. Sadok punishes. Dome Shield coming out to keep him alive. Now it's Creatives and Billow trying to get away, but Akate wants the pressure, and he's going to take over this high ground.
Big Inflame as well, and look at that. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Androxus gets out with barely any health remaining. This is Burrito Esports in control of the objective shift. Akate finds Spunky as well here, and look at Pulioli just bullying Phoenix down. One more shot will be enough for it. Battle Shout buffed, Slug Rifle comes through. That's a good pickup in the realm and in the realm as well, as we have seen more recently.
And that's just really good committal from the frontliners to get their spite on the right-hand side. Will take down Fuzzy Logic, and now a little bit of trouble as Pulioli gets taken down as well. Akate still in the high ground, denying a lot of space, and he wants all of Mudu, and he'll find that, but getting punished by Phoenix. 90% is what it was for Burrito. Now being contested. Sadok, the last player left alive in blue. He'll try to get away, but likely will not as he's got... Ooh, now the rocket boots again coming out, but... No, it's just not enough. So Navi now in control, and this is a really critical moment for that retake, as they're going to get to 90% at least before someone can touch.
Big issue right here, right now, is that Mudu has Dragon Punch. That just denies the retake coming through from Burrito Esports as they get Khan onto the objective. Commanders grab away as in comes Dragon Punch. Nice Battle Shout actually as well. Big Pyre Strike from Furia with plenty of Cherish healing comes on through. Creative's in a lot of trouble. Somebody's got to reset overtime, but Sadok's back here already. Accursed Adama is ready as well. Mutu goes down. Big reversal. Overtime is ticking. Enlightenment slays Phoenix. Shift. This is huge.
Absolutely, in the Accursed Arm just to spread some damage around. Spunky's the next target on Fuzzy Logic's hit list. He needs one more shot and he'll find it. Back to point. No one able to touch in time, and Burrito somehow getting the retake, and now the Inflame just to punish. It's the big left hook from Fuzzy to take down Creatives.
Hit the gas pedal when it really matters, and what a save. Crimson by far right now. Just the player on Burrito that is holding it down. Great work from Pulioli with this Khan so far. Great battle shouts to dissuade the Dragon Punch, for example, but Crimson has been saving lives like a field medic out here. And with the Light of Dawn 5 and the Light Force in here as well as making light work of Burrito Esports health pools.
Overpowered onto Mudu, sending him right back into the face of the rest of the Burrito members. Absolutely worth it if you can get some high ground control. Yeah, Puli dies because of it, but they still have another frontliner. Oh, the spite right in Fuzzy Logic's face says, not today. This is my high ground. And that's going to be enough for Navi to likely be able to clean up right in front. Nice roll from Phoenix to take down Crimson. And now we're in cleanup control here as Phoenix has put down his janitorial uniform and takes down Akate as well.
So, Shift, 1 minute and 30 seconds left on this push. Navi sitting at 77% on Dragon Punch. We've already got Seismic Crash through time and space and Scout up and available. This for me right now is let's just get Spite back up again. Let's charge it up, try and hold them off. Burrito Esports, they're missing out a lot on the overpower right now. That's the big one, which we got to see them get up and ready before this next capture objective. If it goes 2-2, that'll be such a critical decider.
Plenty of time, though. Still 1 minute and 5. Payload now starting to get its wheels under it as it gets to about the 2/3 mark in its journey. The left-hand side is being contested here. This is a really good angle. Fuzzy just trying to find some flick shots onto anybody who will peek, which is, in turn, nobody. But now look at this. This is really good play from Fuzzy. He comes up to help peel for his frontliners. He gets them out, and that's beautiful. No Inflame as of yet, but it could possibly come out here. As, again, look at Navi. They're a little separated, but able to very wisely retreat and come back together.
Full heals coming out all the way through. Crimson making, again, good work of Cherish right now. Phoenix with the high ground going to be dissuaded by a Pyre Strike. Battle of the supports comes through. Spunky, one hit does get away, able to keep on healing up the team. Trade between Mutu taking out Sadak here and Hecate, but Hecate finds two right there. Fuzzy Logic with another one. Mutu still alive, trying to frag. Spunky might be able to clean up the Lian right now, but they've lost so many members. Puliuli is just getting free push.
Big play from Spunky. Dragon Punch coming out and absolutely blindsides Crimson. Never even saw it coming. Wasn't sure if it was to the left or above him as you saw him searching desperately. And Mutu with that kill may have just done enough to secure this defense. It was looking pretty dire for a second. Will anyone be able to touch? Oh, brilliant Void Grip. You saw that one right through the wall to keep Sadhawk from getting in. So we'll stay 2-2. Look at the ultimates though, Vox. Burrito was able to get all those ults charged.
Critically as well, they're able to get the overpower back as well for Khan, and that's a slow charging ultimate, so a lot of frag potential coming out of Puliuli right now, but looking at some of these replays here, this was where Hecate was able to find two, and again, just really good mechanical skill, also great use of Grace just to confirm some of those kills when maybe you miss a couple of shots. It's just like, let me not take any more damage, let me bring them off the board, use a couple of cooldowns here so I can re-engage later.
Not the longest cooldown either. It gives them some mobility to get back.
Free reload as well.
Exactly, free reload as well. Another 8 shots in the old, I'll call it a cartridge, but I don't really know what Leon's using to get the heirloom rifle recharged.
Some kind of crystal something going on here, crystal tech, folks. Oh, look at this morale boost 3 on Puliuli.
Yeah.
That's why the ultimate is coming up so frequently as well. Following on here with Hecate. Hecate spotted out by the scout coming on through here, looking for an opportunity to find maybe an overpower. Mutu goes up. Fuzzy Logic might be looking for them through time and space. Goes straight onto Puliuli. And here we go. The combo comes out through. Dome Shield used to cook Lazy alive. And Lazy goes down to Sadhak.
Can they get the aggressive? Look at where Fuzzy Logic is with the Accursed Arm, mid-air, able to take down Mutu. Now trying to come right back through with another reversal. Not going to connect, but regardless, what a big play from Fuzzy to get that advantage and keep this point in Burrito's control.
Whoa, good use of the projectile shots, narrowly avoiding the spite as well. Just up on a high ground, Fuzzy Logic in a lot of trouble. Does get taken down. No line of sight for the heal there coming through from Crimson. Blocking out. No, Puliuli taking a lot of damage as well from the Fire Spit. Could be in a ton of trouble as Seismic Crash will connect, but Puliuli, CC immune, is alive for the time being thanks to that battle shout. Sadak gets out, Sadak heals up again, and it's 93% to Burrito shift.
And they can take their time with this because Lazy's down. Find one more kill. There it is. Get back to point. Can they take down Mutu? Oh, he's full charge, looking for a kill. He finds the double, able to come right back through with 170 HP. He stays alive, and he just got dunked on previously, but he says, not so fast. I might be the best player in Paladins, and shows exactly why there.
And now Lazy's back in, just touched to make sure that overtime starts ticking, so it will go into effect, but Navi have all the damage in the world here. Sadak gets in, no ultimates available. Oh, Spunky very low. Maybe somebody can find the kill onto them. It has to be coming through right now, and Spunky is forced back, but Lazy cleans up Hecate, and that's pretty much the end of it so far. Crimson, can you keep Puliuli alive? Can you keep yourself alive? And oh my goodness, Fuzzy Logic, he's cleaning up.
Fuzzy is still doing the things he needs to, pulls out the left hook as well, and it looks like Burrito has actually found a handful of kills as we go into quite an untimely pause, but goodness, how are these players staying alive? I mean, Spunky lives with a fraction of HP, somehow Fuzzy's dashing around and stays alive? What is happening?
Just nobody gets cauterized, nobody gets anti-heal onto Fuzzy, and then out comes the Cherish heal. You got a 500 health shield on top of that as well, and all of a sudden you're doing Androxus things, run out of ammo, it's like, alright, well, I'm just gonna go and go ham again.
Warm up the haymaker.
There we go, walking back onto point, Fuzzy Logic, swinging those big guns out there as well, but what a point to have a pause as well, and I do have to wonder, and I do have to speculate that maybe right at the end there, maybe there's a player technical difficulty, a gear malfunction, and that's just why we've got that suddenly coming through, because all of a sudden that flip-flop through to Burrito, especially with the Inflame re-engage there, was about as late as it could have come.
Right, and you know, I have to go back and just reiterate, Fuzzy is playing out of his mind right now. His damage numbers, and that's the thing, a lot of people who see Androxus be played, like this is by far the hypest champion that you can play right now. You're not going to get the biggest damage numbers because it's confirmed kill damage. It's finding those moments where you can be in the holes of what is the Swiss cheese, hopefully, that your team is able to provide for you, and then be a distraction and punish.
A lot of positioning comes into Androxus play. A lot of micro jukes as well. We saw, especially because I think they're using, we're having through the warp in there just to increase that nether step dash distance, as well as some extra movement speed on nether step, narrowly avoiding spite with a quick flick around, a return to do some damage, even if you end up losing your life, as Fuzzy Logic did on that initial point fight right at the beginning of this round, which seems like a lifetime ago shift.
Yeah, it does.
Still able to pull out some amazing plays so far. Burrito are putting up a real fight after a very close 0.1 that went the way of Navi.
Goodness, man, this just takes me back to the Burrito we saw at World Championship, specifically in this matchup versus Navi. It was toe-to-toe
Back
through
and
all
forth,
7 games.
Every single game.
I mean, for me, that was the World Championship final. I would have no hate to Fnatic, they played out of their minds, but I would have rather have seen that match on the big stage, I think.
I mean, they got swept 4-0 in the best of 7 grand finals shift.
4-1, they won a match.
Okay, there's that in there.
Give them some credit.
Okay, I've got to give them the one. And actively remember scores there, folks. But I mean,
happens.
a set that goes the distance, 7 games, is pretty much the hypest experience you can have when you've got the crowd behind you as well, especially a crowd that's cheering frequently in North America for the South American underdog team coming into that LAN as well. What an incredible experience that was. And we're seeing, again, a possible repeat of that. If Burrito takes this point, if they have the advantage, if we see a push coming through, it will be a retelling of the story, and who knows where it's going to end, folks. We've seen a Victor by Burrito so far. We've seen a Vivian by Burrito. We don't know what's coming.
It's those things that really reminds me of, the Burrito from World Championship. They came in and they flexed onto a lot of things. And Fuzzy Logic, I think, back in the winter when we saw them in January, he was by far one of the more improved players that really surprised me. And he's doing, again, incredible things today. And if you think back to the Spring Masters, I really was not all that impressed with Fuzzy. I thought he had a very okay performance. But my goodness, today he has showed up and he is playing exactly the way he needs to give his team a chance.
And look
at this shot.
Well, the accursed arm 1. Oh, there's Mutu up
Later,
the yellow. Just predict where the dragon is going. Even soaks a rocket to the face, but still able to get out of that circumstance. Amazing play coming through so far. Very appropriately spicy play as well. But again, the issue with this specific game on Serpent Beach for me is how late can it go for either team? Who starts to lose out the more the itemization comes online? As Rekka comes up, the side of Burrito Esports is going to lose out on their shields.
Yep.
Likewise, Navi, they're going to lose something in terms of healing with the Inara, but I mean, it's an Inara. She's just going to build into Rejuvenate, pop Earth and Guard, and go, all right, okay, I can heal up again.
Fuzzy is all business. Look at the rest of the team, laughing, joking. Okay, there's a smile. So he looks like an absolute serial killer.
Fuzzy's just trying to predict where his team's going to be during this pause, going, okay, what are we lining up here? Where are my shots going to go?
Yeah, keep in mind, when they unpause, there's a big engagement going on at the point. This is not a,
well, yeah, it's right
we got some time to get right back into the game. No, you jump right back into the deep end there, bud.
Yep, got to reset up your moves there, kind of pre-plan where everybody's going to go, and then you unpause and everything goes in completely the opposite direction. But again, the impact that Sandrox is still alive had on that last fight was incredible. Able to stall out for so long, Shift. Do you feel like that's a bit of an oversight, just not applying the anti-heal that they might have needed to Navi onto this Andro to allow them to be healed?
Man, I don't know. It's hard to make that argument because he's been positioning so well. I mean, I would say the biggest storylines as far as champion pools this tournament have been Cassie as the anti-flank and the story of Willow kind of emerging as that anti-heal. But in this specific instance, Cassie has dominated the 1v1 versus Androxus all tournament until now. How often have we seen Phoenix kill Fuzzy? I haven't seen it happen much at all.
Not very frequently. That's partially, again, just to do with the elusive loadout pickup that Fuzzy's running. Dash in one direction, move around a little bit, dash in another. You can keep yourself mobile enough to throw Cassie off, especially if you're very familiar with Cassie's rate of fire, because there's a certain rhythm to these kind of Lian or Cassie-style champions where you want to be maintaining your optimal fire rate. You can try and anti-juke some people by throwing maybe a pause in there, but then you're losing out on potential DPS. So a lot of players are kind of just like a whole mouse one, and I just peek when I need to, and that's exactly what Fuzzy might be able to capitalize on here. It might also just be Phoenix going, oh my god, there's an Andrew in my face running straight at me. What do I do?
And it's at the most appropriate moments. I mean, it's not like he's just diving in and all of a sudden he's there. It's
absolutely
let the Khan give me a boost, let the Khan's firing line do some damage, and then I can try to capitalize and keep people at bay. I mean, this Burrito team has looked so completely controlled when it comes to not only these two frontliners, which, to be honest, their synergy has been lights out for the last 6 months, but it's also the ability for Fuzzy or Hecate to play alongside of someone like a Khan or a Ruckus that we normally see out of Burrito to make sure that all of that damage is capitalized and actually has a huge impact on the fight ahead.
Very much so as well. We can draw a little bit of a parallel in terms of that. So the performance of last game on Stone Keep, Mutu and Creatives working very well together, very synergistic right there. This time around, we're seeing, as you mentioned, quite how much the front line does impact the fight, but also how much space they can buy for the rest of the team to be able to go and do their own thing.
Right.
And at times, Fuzzy Logic might make the hero play, just go and try and get a kill, but draw fire away from Lazy. Speaking of as well, folks, that's 2 points in a row now, or at least 2 big engagements that we've seen Lazy, the Inara, pulled in with Commander's Grab and roasted inside of a Dome Shield. This target prioritization is very unusual considering that we're either used to the front lines being thrown off the map with that, with the overpower, or maybe pulling the Drogas out of the sky.
Right, and it's a tough decision. I mean, you have a solo Inara, so if you can get rid of her, that's free open push. But hey, we can break this down all day, especially with the two of us. I mean, this is what we do. We sit online.
Vamp till ready, Shift. Vamp till ready.
Let's send it back towards the desk to see what they have to say about what they've seen so far and what might need to change to finish this game off.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have some announcements to make on what we'll be proceeding with. I'm sure it's interesting, but we will be actually doing a full game remake. There was a moment I'm hearing from our admins in production that apparently a player for an extended period of time in that final point lost control, and therefore the call is to, because the score was tied 2-2, remake the entire game. So there's really not much to analyze at this point. Yeah. Everything that happened has absolutely nothing, no relevance here.
And I'll be honest, I don't know if, it's one of those things, you're 2-2 when that comes through, right?
Yeah.
Maybe having control, losing control of a champion is always going to be outrageous, right? Because all of a sudden, you're not impacting the game at all.
Yeah.
But going back to what they were doing and being able to restart this entire game, I don't know if that's actually going to change as much. There wasn't a lot really in terms of the draft that I think's they're going to do this strategy at the very beginning. There was a lot of just all-out brawling between the two teams, and it kind of came down to who hits the better shot.
It's like you got to play a half game. You got to play a half game.
That was your scrim.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those that I've never actually been in Paladins in my time. I don't actually think I've seen a full remake at this stage of the competition. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's not
this is a very unusual occurrence. So it must have been drastic. You know, we don't have much information to go on. I'm just reporting what we've been told, and that apparently is that it's going to be a full play again for Navi in Game 2, and so the score is still 1-0 for Navi, and they will be taking the same lineups into the Serpent Beach game to now trying I can get an edge. I mean, they were not very easily separated, I will say that.
And it's one of those things that when it comes down to it, the game was looking dead even, right? I expected it to kind of go towards the path of the 3-3 one more time where it comes down to the last point. And because of that, I understand, the decision coming through, right? You can't really award someone a win in that kind of scenario because you don't have no clue who's going to win this game.
Sure.
Going for the reset, I don't think is going to change too much, although, again, you're looking at these teams, they were in the moment, in the heat of it, and now they've had a little bit of time not only to cool down, but they're being told they have to remake, so that might mentally affect some of the players.
Just hope nobody on Nocturnes loses control at 3-2 Navi as they're beginning to push, but I'm just kidding. I'm not going to throw that out. I lost control, man! You should put your hands on the keyboard. That would help to get control. I'm assuming that Navi is actually in lighter spirits as a result of that. Latam and Nocturnes, Burrito, I think are a little probably dismayed, I would say, as it did look like they were taking the lead. But, you would say maybe that lead was being taken because they lost control on Navi's end after Mutu made some pretty incredible plays. It's back and forth in that round.
And that, again, is like the inner turmoil of the admin's brain right now, right?
Yeah.
How do I make a decision out of that area? And, again, that's probably one of the harder things. How do you make that decision going forward with it, though? They made it. We're going back. And again, I feel like the only thing that might be different for me, and the thing that I actually want to look at, is Fuzzy Logic's control of Androxus. One of the things that I think was very different at the beginning of the game, there was a lot of just spam shooting. Mm-hmm. And then as he played a little bit more, you started to see the control kind of flow back into the champion.
You know what I honestly think? I think that this actually, from a champion perspective, when you get more warm-up on Leon, when you get more warm-up on Andro, that makes a lot more of a difference than when you get warmed up on Inara. I'm just saying, those champions definitely take a second to get going to full speed. And Fuzzy Logic and Akate have had a half a game, 60, 70% of a game to be able to do that. I know it's going to be rough. The thing that we're going to have to look at now is the mentality of these players to take a bump in the road, which, either team thinks maybe they could have won that, right? And you got to take that bump, and now you have to say what's next and still perform. This is really the you know, they've had it hard, man. Game 7s against each other. They are like, man, if I'm going to get through this set, it's going to be through a lot.
And that's why I think, I don't know how Navi was feeling before because we didn't get their interview, but when we did watch Burrito's interview earlier, it was very blatant that they were excited for this. And I think that kind of emotion honestly leads them into this, I want to say, a little bit of a leg up, just because something like this happens, and even if you're maybe frustrated with it, you're like, well, whatever, we get to play Navi more. So we have a little bit more of an extended time to actually spend against them, learning from them, and potentially bettering ourselves or helping them better themselves for either the finals or wherever we end up.
Yeah. That's true. I haven't heard any word on where they're at with remaking the game, but I believe we're about 30 seconds away, just hearing now, from getting back into the action. So thanks all of you viewers for staying with us. We know it's never ideal when you have to remake a game, but sometimes things do happen. And again, I don't think they'd be making this decision if it wasn't for the integrity of the entire thing. We're going to be ready to go back to casters right now. I hope that this set continues to be as exciting as it was. I'm sure ready to watch a little bit more Burrito and Navi. Gotta stop saying Nocturnes, man. I'm just sorry. It was the semi. It was Nocturnes and Navi. It's the semi. Burrito and Navi. Let's get back to Alan and Vox, who will take us through the action again.
Oh my God, we're back again.
Dun. Da, da, da.
I had to force you into that. It's just you talk about one thing behind camera, and Vox is like, I really don't want to do this. Okay, I'm in there.
Here we go. I've been wanting to do one of those for a while and just get the whole casting crew involved, but I mean, hey.
That would be the perfect boy band, because Gormizer could teach us all how to dance with his 10,000 hours of experience.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic. We're going to have to get a behind-the-scenes video going soon, folks. But I'm getting a sense of deja vu here, Ship. And ultimately, this just turns into a 6-point game.
Yeah.
That's the best way to look at it. It's like, okay, 6-point game.
This is a real treat. We're getting more of this. Could you be disappointed in that? I sure couldn't be. I mean, we're seeing
more of this fantastic frag action. And I've really got to pull on the point where it says, the desk was talking about how, hey, you warm up on Androxus, that's a little bit more impactful than getting a warm up on something like a Nara. And
right.
We know that once you get those flicks going, it can be devastating. So I'm excited to see how things go. Just got to make sure that Mutu doesn't Dragon Punch the servers into the Shadow Realm this time.
He has a tendency of just making things just
disappear. People, lives, hopes and dreams,
servers.
Aspiring spots and esports championships.
The entire game.
Yeah, he's something about that. But it's also going to give the opportunity for, maybe especially this Drogos who's taking a bit of focus fire, took that accursed arm mid-air to try and figure something different out this time. Maybe some different positioning from both teams.
I just think that this elevates the game even further, because they just get more time to talk about it and kind of evaluate what's happened, what's gone wrong, what's gone right, and try to change. Again, we're seeing the starting loadouts. It'll be Puliuli back into that morale boost 1 to start things off. And yes, we're back again. Serpent Beach 0-0, map number 2. This is just about as good as it gets.
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
No, I've been in this place before. Burrito Esports looking spicy here, ready to go in. Got the Slayer spray coming out for one of these players. I like that. How many eliminations you going to get? All right, I'm going to rub it right in your face, Navi, they say. Initial high ground positioning is what you'd expect. Big Pyre Strike to come out to start things off as Cassie is looking for some focus fire up here. Sadok takes the high ground. Lazy on the objective. All pretty standard positioning so far, Shift, but it's already 18%, 21 right now for the side of Navi as Fuzzy Logic's flanking.
Oh, and the little Pyre Strike just to add a little bit more distraction over on the right-hand side. This is really great positioning. Again, you can see how this Kana is working with Hecate to make sure that extra damage is there as often as possible. Look at Fuzzy Logic on the left-hand side of your screen. He's trying to find angles, and even though he's not hitting for a lot, it's still damage that forces you to look, and Lazy's low and caught out. Tries the Nether Step, but a great Void Grip right as he's about to channel it. Oh, and he gets the left hook. It's Sadok who takes down the final blow, but regardless, good reaction from Fuzzy.
What a play there so far. Now Navi are on the back foot. Mutsu, every time they're peeking, is focused down by Fuzzy Logic in the back line, going in for it. Andro finds one. Puliuli finds Phoenix as well. One left, and it's Hecate. One kill for every member of the Burrito Esports team up on the high ground as Fuzzy takes down Lazy. And what a difference this time around, Chip. They have found their momentum. Burrito Esports looking strong.
Fuzzy you can just feel how locked in he is. It did not feel so great at the beginning of the first iteration of this game, but holy smokes, is he completely on fire. Getting this high ground now will reversal, just keeping himself away. He knows he can contest for a short amount of time, but not for forever. Burrito up 1-0, 2:12 on the clock, and the payload still moving pretty free.
Up to the high ground again. It's going to probably stay up here for a second, looking for maybe Mutsu, who's half health. Here comes Scout, though. Phoenix with their number. Fuzzy Logic does go down, and Crimson wisely backs off. Sadok as well. Everybody's retreating. Burrito Esports, they can go for a mid-round buy here, but they're actually going to try and conserve their resources, conserve their lives here, and try and wait for Fuzzy Logic to get back, so as not to give Navi anything extra in terms of credits and kill threshold.
Yeah, very good disengage from the side of Burrito. Now look at this, the response as Fuzzy gets here. He's able to find a handful of shots on a Mutu, who now has to back up. Overpowered comes out, and how about that? Get out of here. He able to take Lazy way off the point. Creatives does find the return. A little bit of a one-on-one action versus Mutu, but wow, what a shield from Crimson to keep Fuzzy alive. Can he find another? He will, and the Pyre Strike from the side. Oh, it's just not enough to keep Sadhak alive. So much work happening for Crimson. He can't do everything, though, as Creatives will clean up a second. So now Navi, with a little bit of a kill surge, will get themselves a nice, successful first start to the defense.
But here's the re-engage. Fuzzy Logic looking for somebody wise. He backs up just there as there is a bit of damage coming through. Oh, that was a big fire spit as well there, Shift. Big detonation from Mutu. Big time plays coming out of the unstoppable monster on the side of Navi. Just go back to that quick overpower, though, that we saw coming out of Khan. Lace took a long time to die after being thrown into the water.
Yeah.
How many skips do you think that was, the skipping stone? At least 5 for me.
It kind of seemed like one of those like just upward
Boing,
arcing
boing, boing,
heaves.
boing.
I don't know if he really got the skipping effect, but regardless, again, really smart. There's no way for an R to get back on the point, so why not keep her death and her presence off the field for as long as possible? Good bellow.
Sadhak got out of that. That was remarkable. Good pressure from Fuzzy Logic to be able to disengage there. Oh, Phoenix takes 2 big shots. Fuzzy looking for a third one, trying to find somebody, anybody, and was that an inflame as well? I think it was Burrito Esports. They're hitting the gas pedal here, and Fuzzy Logic has already found 2.
Yeah, but look at the position. This is really dangerous. You can see where Puliuli wants to set up. Yeah, they're moving quote-unquote backwards, but what they're doing is taking away all this high ground, while Sadhak, he's actually using this turret to zone everything away, and Fuzzy Logic on the right side will make sure no one can really contest. Puli has rotated. He's here, but can they find the kills? They only find 1. The battle shot just a little bit too late, able to soak up some of the damage from Drogos, but regardless, yeah, someone's going to have to touch point, and this Navi defense is collapsing. The Dome Shield is down, though.
Oh, wow, this could be really big. Here comes Dragon Punch as well. Mutu trying to find somebody. Enlightenment can't find the shutdown. No, it does! Hikate takes down Mutu. Puliuli finds Spunky as well. Phoenix, the last one left standing. And oh my god, no, it's Creatives in Billow who's just trying to shadow away, as Fuzzy Logic will claim their life, and Burrito Esports push 2-0.
That was the most clutch Dome Shield I think we may have seen this tournament. There was really no way for Burrito to escape that situation. It's either, all right, we're just going to die for this and hope that we get it, or we're going to make a play. And Sadhak made a play right there. And Nara falls, able to get Hikate online with that big enlightenment, helping burst down targets, and those are the kills they needed. They find the front line, they find the support. Nobody can stay alive for the side of Navi.
Critically as well, that Dragon Punch that came in through was completely shut down. I'm not sure if that's because Mutu was just trying to get out the way of the enlightenment or something like that, or just chose not to engage. And look at the difference of where Drogos is sitting in the scoreline versus Burrito this time around. It is in 5th with Hikate leading there. Janus still actually topping the healing charts right now, but Furia and Khan combined, slightly overtaking by the look of things right there, and I'm excited to see what comes out of this now. Already with the overpower, Puliuli looking for somebody to pull here. Can't grab the Cassie, that is CC immunity coming through, and a big fire spit will bring people's health pools down low, but look at Fuzzy Logic right now. This is the whole-on wraparound flank shift.
All the way around the world and now into the backline, but he needs to pick his target very wisely. Nobody knows he's here. Mutu's probably getting called out as being low, so now he goes up in the midair, and he won't be able to find him. Can't find the target whatsoever. You can see how much he's trying to slide around to find Mutu, who's still 1 HP, but goodness gracious, are they doing a good job as Navi of keeping him alive throughout all of that? And goodness, Navi will actually be able to stay in contest. The spike comes out, it does narrowly miss, but Creatives has the cooldowns to stay alive still. 84 HP, he won't be able to survive through Sadhak. The seismic crash completely misses, and Hikate punishes.
Oh my goodness, and now comes in Flame Shift. It's time for the re-engage. Sadhak finds Mutu as well. Everybody's cleaned up from the side of Navi. Burrito Esports capturing for free 96.99. That'll be capture number 2 in a row from your team in blue. And Navi now have 1 more chance to defend, lest Burrito even the set score and reduce this best of 5 to a best of 3.
It's been insane to see how well players using Barrack have done this tournament. It's just, again, he's
what
not,
happened to them? Nothing's changed.
I was about to say, there's been nothing significant
bowling
that's
ball.
changed.
It's just the loadouts.
Yeah.
It's all about this bowling ball. It's about crowd control reduction, which we've known has been strong on the frontliners for a while, but it's about the bowling ball and the bowling ball reset. So you get 2 additional shields as well as Furia. There's so much health to chew through. It's this effective short-term save.
Fuzzy Logic on the left was finding himself a 1v1 versus Creatives. Lazy came and said, no, this isn't a fair fight.
Nah.
Tries to throw his own weight in the rink, which is a lot considering that Inara is made out of stone after all.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a rocky engagement right there, Shift.
Set you up for that one. Thanks
Any opportunity. I'm getting back into the swing of things, getting my mojo back. just like Fuzzy Logic has been on this.
Big
Androxus, good headshot onto Mutsu. Fire spit to follow though. Okay, so cleaned up. That'll cause a disengage from Burrito Esports as Navi realize they're able to potentially force people back, but Mutsu's being forced back just from damage by Akate. If Puliuli can escape with his life, this could be a potential re-engage as soon as Fuzzy Logic returns.
Every time I see Sadhawk push forward like that, I was like, there's no way he gets out of this situation, and then he
Bowling
does.
Ball. Rocket Boost reset comes on through.
Oh, he
good
won't get away
spite
from
though.
that.
Yeah, no, there's not much you can do about a good spite from Zen, and that was the
Flame.
The cleanse right there. Here we go as well. Enlightenment comes out on through. Oh,
Find
Spunky
that
getting
kill.
away with the skin of his teeth, but Crimson's found 2 shifts.
It is big.
Fury
Finding
does
those two,
damage.
but and now look, oh, this is actually big. Genos is caught out, and Fuzzy wants to push us on the top left-hand side just behind. He's 1 HP. They need to find this kill. Spunky, how are you alive? He's still healing while this is happening. Phoenix rotates over from the opposite high ground by the torch, but still, Navi needs to get close together. This is looking like a repeat of what happened before. They need to find the kills. Hekate goes down. Sadhak goes down. Those are huge kills. That was what was different from the first time to the last, but goodness, Spunky, how do you live there?
And all through that shift, there's 25 seconds left to go. Spunky might have made the hero play. Crimson gets out alive, though, as well. 7 streak for them right now. Out of combat regen ticking on through. Cauterize 3 from the mid-round buy has come online for Ekate as well. Sadak here as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. And morale boost 3 for Puliuli. If Puliuli is able to extend his fight long enough to get that overpower up and send Lazy straight into the drink, that will be game over, but... can we get that, like, Titanic flute coming again real fast?
The recorder version, not the actual.
Absolutely. That one's going in the compilation, folks. That one's going in a meme video. Bloop.
But look at Hekate. I mean, we've been talking about Fuzzy Logic all game because, to be completely honest, we've needed to.
Oh, that
I mean,
sidestep as well.
Yeah, it's just beautiful line of sight break. The inflamed right after. Hekate is good. He's using precision. And it's a really smart pickup. He did this yesterday against Fnatic, where it's like, I don't have any shields to break. I don't need to take death and taxes. Let me just get constant pressure, DPS. The fact that he's able to do what he is as a solo Leon damage presence is why Fuzzy Logic is able to get into the backline. He is only 5, 7, and 4, but again, his damage is so much better than it was last game. It's actually incredible to see.
It's only Cassie that's already keeping up here as well, and Phoenix has that hard time cut out for them as well, because we saw in that last time when Fuzzy Logic was diving around on the mountain to the backline, Phoenix had to take time away from shooting tanks to just look for Fuzzy, and Fuzzy goes, all right, I'm just going to run back to my team and re-engage from here. So Scout comes out, Fire Spit might be to follow as Mutu's looking for an opportunity here, and here it comes. Hekate down to half health, but again, plenty safe right now, and Fuzzy's just been enough to ward off creatives here this entire time. A lot of posturing coming through, but now it's re-engaged with Dragon Punch from Navi.
They need to find a kill onto somebody, but nobody's nearby. Cursed Arm also used just to disengage. Oh, through time and space. Oh my goodness,
Slide
I didn't think
left.
he had enough real estate, but he was able to just narrowly avoid it by hugging that little garden wall. And Sadhawk still here. Seismic Crash trying to be used, but where is it going? It hits actually just Fuzzy Logic by himself, and Kratos has already changed his target.
Dome Shield not coming out there. Rocket Boots was off cooldown by a second there, Shift. Wasn't able to get out in time, and this could be Navi's cap right now. It is comeback mechanic for the side of the red team, but the double kill! The speed, the decimation from Fuzzy Logic, found 2 in a row. Here's the Inflame as well, and just like that, Burrito coming with a comeback. Spunky narrowly escapes from the corner. Beautiful Void Grip, but what a retake.
Wow, Fuzzy goes unchecked, and he decimates Navi in the back line. That was absolutely F1 Formula Racing out of
That's an
Androxus.
Andro dream right there. It's
my
like, oh, low
goodness.
health targets. Click 1, click 2. It's Andro's point and click adventure. Back to the stories of old, folks. And now it's 84%. This is game point for Burrito Esports if they manage to take the capture. They've still got Dome Shield as well. Enlightenment is ready. Navi, no ults to re-engage, and Mutu's already dead. What do? You're being forced back in all directions. Creatives does find Fuzzy Logic, though, but Hekate has already found Lazy, and there's no way to contest this unless you're the Xin, unless you have cooldowns. Diving in desperately, Creatives is evaporated.
Oh, and just put him down, put him to sleep. Why don't you got the Enlightenment while he gets the mini stun from the Pyre Strike? Burrito take it 4-1. And goodness, I have to go back just 1 second because that Dome Shield came out, but it wasn't just the Dome Shield against the Inara. It was also Puliuli coming around the backside to make sure that the Inara couldn't go anywhere without taking damage. A huge capitalization on Lazy results in that control point, and Navi's damage just was not enough to come back against the double front. Very well executed throughout that entire map for Burrito.
Shift, I think that honestly, Burrito Esports may just have the best frontline players in the world in their squad right now. They're certainly performing like it, and I can't wait to see more of this. We have seen 6 points and almost a full extra point of just that Serpent Beach game. And with that reset, folks, 1-1 in this best of 5, we're reduced to just a best of 3. What an exciting situation.
I'm glad that was so nice. We got to see it twice. And well, speaking of some guys that are so nice, we'd like to see them more than twice. How about the desk? What did you guys have to think about Serpent Beach?
Who, me? Couldn't be.
Just you.
Just me. All right. Well, thank you, Alex. Allen, thank you. And Vox, I think what was that's I guess Alox. Alox is Vox and Allen's relationship name.
Yeah, I was wondering where you were going, and I'm like, I'm gonna
Alox.
keep this because I can like hear the Katie in my
Van
brain.
and Alox. I don't know which one's better because they're both very very interesting. But you know what else was interesting? The way that they came out in Game 2. Of Game 2, it was incredible. It was like that continued something that had just begun. They didn't slow their roll at all.
And that was, I think, the most impressive thing. You know, again, you're sitting there for a couple minutes after that remake, and you're just like, okay, getting back in the process of it. And in my mind, that's like, well, you're gonna like cool down a little bit. Like it's not gonna be enough
That's
that your
what
aim
one
is completely
normal
off.
person
But
would
like,
do, yeah.
you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to get back into this. Round one's gonna be like, how do I flick again? Like what's going on? And Fuzzy Logic just stepped right back into the shoes he left.
You know what's so funny is that I think this is a team performing at almost superhuman heights when you see them in these moments. The semifinal 6 months ago was exactly the same way, where we felt that Burrito and Nocturnes at that time were just out of this world. And Fuzzy Logic has a couple of plays here. I mean, the double kill towards the end of what is round 3. And, you know, just some accursed arms that from even the beginning of the earlier game to this game 2, just so consistent in his Androxus play, which has been a big question mark for teams this tournament.
And being able to have something like that again, Androxus, you're looking at the natural predator that is going to kill off a Drogoz. But if you don't perform, Drogoz has complete reign of this guys. There's no worries at all. You're just a non-factor in the game. And then you turn that on its head. Drogoz essentially did not exist that game. I don't know if there's a moment he got to live for free.
That tattoo's pretty cool too, man. I mean, he's definitely got some swag going on. Fuzzy Logic. And
Gabby says that every time. She's like, they're just so cool with all their piercings and tattoos.
What a girl. That's what makes guys get all these piercings. It's like, oh, man, he's so cool. He's got his tattoos and his leather jacket and his and it's just,
don't forget the motorcycle.
Yeah, his motorcycle, and it's just swag, you know. Girls define guy culture. It's so true. Guys like want to dress to what girls think are cute.
I dress like
the
a
club
slob
scene is
most of the
hilarious.
time.
Every single guy I would go out at literally like when I was maybe 3-4 years ago, and it was like you could clone one guy and make all the other guys, and it wouldn't
Same
change.
outfit.
It would look exactly the same in the bar that you went
It's
to.
like, okay, this guy's wearing blue, that guy's wearing black. It's the same shirt.
The
though.
same
the
haircut,
same pants.
same haircut, same shirt, same. It's like it's hilarious, bro. But I really, really did enjoy, I think, seeing that again, and we get to see these teams a little bit more, especially through controversy.
And that, especially for these teams, specifically right now, Burrito,
Yeah.
I think you get to strengthen yourself, right? So you have something that comes through. It's not something that's going to benefit really either of you, but you come out on top, and you're like, all right, we just got a 4-1. That was like 3-2 territory. We were going relatively close, but now we've like solidified. We could definitely beat these guys. That gives you a boost. On the other side, Navi probably feeling a little downhearted.
You know what's so interesting, man? When you actually have the moments of, and this happens so much in a personal story I'll share again, but like basketball, right? You're playing pickup basketball. You're playing pickup anything, and you get a foul call, and you call it, but you feel a little bad about it. Everyone gives you a hard time. I feel like that's kind of what happened with Navi. Like, they called the foul, and everyone was like, really? You're going to call that? You're like, you want to pause at 3-2 and we're about to take over? And Navi's like, yeah, we are. And then it just suddenly went to where Navi looked like not even close to themselves. You know, I don't know whether it was just they had a worse time restarting. They felt a little like, you know, all right, it maybe makes sense that they won this game. Obviously, you're not having that in your main focus, but there is a little bit of like, ooh, that was a risky pause there.
And now I feel like Navi, you know, again, losers pick map 3 on. So taking it to Splitstone Quarry, you end up in this area where, honestly, Burrito's been taken quite a few times. This is one of the things in Latin America, specifically for the PGS. A lot of the Game 3s, Game 4s, Game 5s, anything, if you are able to take Burrito that far, are what maps can we possibly do to take care of Burrito? And Splitstone comes in, Ice Mines comes in, to the point where these guys actually have a lot of practice here. So I'm kind of curious what Navi have in play for this map that they think will give them that leg up.
I think Navi are very, very astute at figuring out what they need to do, especially when they need to make adjustments. And Creatives was such a monster on that Zen. Let's not forget that. But so was Zakate. He was popping off. That enlightenment towards the end of the game, especially when Phoenix happened to be stunned there. Oh, man, that was beautiful. And he was so pivotal. We talked about fuzzy logic, but in this, it's going to be very important as well. No snipers banned thus far for Burrito and Navi, and I think that is going to mean that this game may open up quite a bit.
Question of whether or not we're going to see them valued. It's one of those things. Willow right now has been kind of the hot pick here.
Yeah.
Strix and Kinessa can be a hot pick, and I think specifically Burrito, and actually when it comes down to it, Mutu on Navi, they both have players that are known for their sniper play that can do a lot with a sniper.
Sure.
But I still feel like neither of them really want to put their neck on the line at first. They don't want to be the first one to lock it in. They want to see where your draft is going, going to get a feel for it. Are you going to shut us down, or can we run this for free?
I think this is important to note. Furia has definitely been successful thus far for Burrito, and they're going to take it away. I think Furia Khan, that to me, proved the most pivotal game mid-fight, game-changing aspect of Serpent Beach. I just saw so many times where you just have the battle shout and then you have the Furia heal, and it's a full health Khan again, in fact, fighting at you. Burrito will elect to take the Inara Cassie, as Navi do select that healer first.
I like the way Burrito have gone through their bans. Again, looking at the way they're drafting this, it's what are things that Navi are not only really good with, but are very strong on this map. You get Buck, Bomb King, take away the Cassie, take away the Inara. So you get things that are good for the map, take away things that are bad. Whereas on Navi, they just go Khan McCall one more time, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like one of those things that I feel like Burrito have a lot of flexibility, and because those are the only bans that are, well, we don't get Khan back, but we still have pretty much every other pick we have in our arsenal.
Yeah, and I think Navi here with the Leon, it's a great grab. You know, adding the Barrack as well as some of the European teams, especially Fnatic and Navi, have kind of experimented with heavily and used to great effect ever since the last LAN here, where we saw Fnatic have an incredible Game 7 win against Navi in the PPL Spring Finals for you know, obviously that competition, using a solo tank Barrack. So Navi are going to grab that, gives them flexibility in the draft later on if they want to double tank. And Burrito now with a Maldamba hovered over.
And admittedly, can't forget this is where it all fell apart. The Game 7 that was the map Splitstone Quarry, where Burrito weren't able to regain control. I think it ended up being 4-1. It might have been a 4-0, but it was just one of those instances where Burrito did not have the potency.
Well, how about this for potency? The Victor.
I like it. Again, Barrage, you get a nice grenade. You actually set yourself up, and we're looking at teams again. I said NA flavor, but this is something I feel like Burrito has kind of worked on in the background. They brought out the Vivian. They're bringing out the Victor again. And I think he has a lot of control. When you take away something like a Bomb King, that grenade can kind of fill the same role.
It certainly can. Tense moments here for Navi. They've got one more draft. They've got to make the most of it. They are looking good so far in this set, but last game, boy, that was not the same Burrito-Navi matchup we saw in Game 1.
I'm actually really curious to see what Burrito are planning for that last pick.
Wow.
Victor is not normally a fourth pick for your team. He's normally that, like,
the
okay,
last pick,
we have what we want. Let's throw the Victor in there and show our hand that that's what we're going for. So that gives Navi the opportunity to say, well, they already have a lot of their damage, a lot of the hit scan. Like, maybe they're not going to go for a sniper. Maybe there is no Kinessa, or maybe that's exactly what Burrito wanted, and this is going to be where they whip out their sniper.
There's an issue here. Who's going to go to the back line? And it's the Ruckus. It's Sadak. They're going to send their front line into the back instead of opting for what you may see in European teams, a triple DPS, and picking up another flanker. Buck banned out, being the primary choice for that role, and thus it will be the Ruckus, who somehow has always, with Sadak activating him, caused a ruckus in the Paladins professional scene. Gormizer, taking a look. Who do you think has the edge?
I think it all is going to depend on Strix. I mean, if he gets a couple of headshots on Ruckus before anyone can get back there, I think it's going to be a cleaner shot. But Burrito have played this for ages. They know how to deal with the sniper. I'm excited for it. I think Navi have a little bit of a lead.
Well, let's send it to the casters for game number 3.
There's only one thing I know. When you put these two teams in the rink together, it's going to be good, no matter who's drafted.
Ding, ding, round 3.
Round
Here we
3
go.
and a half.
It's going to be a tricky one, right? Honestly, if I'm looking at this, I'm saying Navi better neutral point fight. Once ultimates come online, Strix just gets barraged.
Yep.
What are you going to do about that?
Even Willow can get barraged midair when she's in her Fae Flight.
She doesn't move fast enough to really dodge all of it. If the center part of that missile hits will be good. But look at this compensator 2 in there. So a little bit of recoil reduction for Hecate. Looking for a... Oh, wow. Look at that reveal as well. That'll help a lot with Strix here as well. Strix on the high ground being forced out by a grenade, and all of a sudden, Sadak up there as well to force him out. Easy first blood comes through. Navi, take a spill.
Goodness, Hecate must have already, like, the thought process that I'm going to make a build that has Predator 4 in it just in case I can duel against a Strix.
It didn't
like,
used to be good, Shift, but then we changed the way in which these reveal mechanics work, and all of a sudden they're so valuable. Coming back in, Mutu is back and ready, but Lazy, unable to really contest there, is being forced back by a half health in Nara.
That's actually insane to see that this loadout choice is made. 200 IQ Hecate coming in all throughout this choices. Although, look at this. Mutu does find a return kill. This on the Sadhak. It was 78% for Burrito before they have to back up. And Nara trying to escape. Fuzzy Logic not able to get away. A nice bit of damage peel here coming out of Victor's carbine to push everyone back. But Navi will kind of take their advantage on the right-hand side underneath the bleachers and say, well, now it's our turn to capture this point up.
I tell you what, if Burrito take this one and Navi lose out to a Victor pick here, it's not just going to be a carbine shift, it's going to be assault rifle.
Yeah. Wow. You said it.
We got to go there. A lot of headshots coming through onto Lazy as well. Barak with that easy access headbox, or headshot hitbox, I should say. Getting a lot of shots poked down onto them. Sadak looking maybe just to dodge some incoming shots from Willow. Lazy does find them though. Needs a big heal to come through. Gord's got to go onto Inara as well though, but Lazy being forced back very quickly. Mutu and Spunky find a couple of kills. Can they pick up the Liana as well? Missiles need to come on through, but she dives straight on in. But there's a Gord here as well.
Oh.
Enlightenment straight into an Amina shield. Missiles hit the button. Contest does not happen though, and Sadak goes down.
The problem is the Maldamba fell just previous to that engagement that we were online with. Look at Creative Spot. He's able to take over the high ground and then push right on through, able to find Fuzzy Logic, who has had a kind of a slow start so far to this game. Navi with just absolutely great positioning throughout that team fight. Lazy juking and jiving, able to keep himself on the point for far longer than honestly he should have been able to stay for, and it results in Navi up 1-0.
Let's talk about how Cassie isn't really much of a participant right now, Shift, because she's being shut down wherever you look. Fuzzy Logic's finding some shots, but there's so much pressure coming through as they're taking an ultimate stance to where this Victor is, but here's a big opportunity. Spunky jukes out the blast shot, does end up going down there as well. Mutu, though, is on a 5-streak rampage right now, and that is dangerous, Shift.
Oh my gosh, these turrets are doing so much damage as well. No one's really taking a look at them, and you can see that actually is what pokes out Fuzzy Logic from that side, and Mutu capitalizes the last shot at Kate. This is the problem. He does so much damage, but it's so hard to confirm the kill on the side of playing a Victor if you don't have your grenade up, and that's exactly the case there. And again, lots of damage in the Lazy, who's just able to run away. That's the biggest downside to the Victor is, yeah, it's a lot of constant damage, but if Cassie isn't there to clean up, who's going to be able to finish the kill?
Dead Zone as well, doing a lot of work at keeping this ruckus down. Crimson now avoiding a Pyre Strike. There's a Dread Serpent just to turn things around, but I think you got to do that to conserve momentum at this point, Shift. If Navi were able to find that one support kill, they could have really snowballed this one through, and it's more than just a Dread Serpent you're giving up, which now does have the chance to really charge up again, as there will be a re-engage coming through from that team in blue. Fuzzy,
look how far forward he is.
Also losing out a boxing match to Furia right now. Not doing so good on the Cassie compared to how he was on Androxus last time around. Projectile shots a little bit different, and gotta escape. Lazy's coming in. Barak's bringing the fight to you. He's bringing the home to you as well. Gordon here could do a lot of disruption at G-Shift.
Yeah, but that's where Lazy wants to be right now, is to set up those turrets. Look at that Crimson getting poked out as well. He's not doing any healing right now, so Hecate also has to back up. Can't even get out in time. Oh, Puliuli will be the one that falls from Spunky. Again, doing all the damage. Nightshade over to the way of Fuzzy Logic, who falls from Spunky as well. Was that the Pyre Strike that hit him late in that engagement? Goodness, we've got 23 seconds, and now Crimson and Hecate fall. This might just be it for Navi for a 2-0, especially if Sadhak can't stay alive. He won't be able to. Can anyone touch?
I don't think that anybody will want to touch. Puliuli right here just walls up and tries to stay safe. Navi push on through, and Burrito Esports, they have to conserve their resources.
Goodness gracious, Mutu up close and personal, finding the quick scope plus a couple of pistol rounds. He's just doing so well again. Yes, he can be really vulnerable with this build that is being used by Hecate, but Mutu has really been really smart about how he's kind of positioned himself. He doesn't want to stay in that early line of sight. He wants to make sure the Victor, he wants to make sure the Victor's shooting at somebody else, and then he'll poke, get a couple of shots, and capitalize. Mutu just really, really smart. Even in that Serpent Beach game, he was able to come back a couple of times in the first iteration of it. He's not going to be held at bay for long, if we know anything about Mutu.
No, and we need to be very careful here, as even though Mutu is down low on the damage charts, he'll be quickly rising. Currently led, though, by creators on the Willow. One of the pioneers of any Willow playstyle, really. The first one to bring them out in competitive play after they came out of that release situation. And so far, so good for them. And also, a Haven too, making them very survivable. Dead Zone goes down. Puliuli in a lot of trouble. Fire Strike narrowly misses. Cassie throws out Scout as well, just to try and reveal some people around. But that was Inflame used as well by Navi, just to make sure that they can secure this objective.
And at this distance, really, I mean, it's just Hecate tickling. Although Psyduck will try to throw down a Hexafire, but he gets found by Mutu again. There was no peel there for Mutu. He's just doing such a good job of just sitting, hiding, biding his time, and then absolutely capitalizing as he fights Puliuli before he breaks line of sight. Burrito falling pretty significantly as Navi are the ones in charge of the point, up to 30% and climbing above that for free.
It's just such a tough job right now for this double frontline of Burrito Esports, with Maldamba to fight into a Willow who just keeps putting down Dead Zone and Shift. That's really what's causing the impact for me right now. It's not Hecate, it's not even Fuzzy Logic missing a bunch of shots, it's the fact that there's just so much focus coming down to these frontliners, they're not able to buy space. Phoenix cleans up Crimson, no more healing left, Hecate can't run away. Taken down by Spunky as well, down goes the Dead Zone. Puliuli surely to fall here as well as... Oh, return around, actually cycling crash.
Did he hit the wall?
I think so.
Oh no!
That's a whiff and a huff.
It's a big yikes for me, my dude, as Mutu cleans up Fuzzy late on the point. Sadak's trying to escape. Looks like he will be able to get up to the high ground, but there are so many members from Navi who can punish this. If they can find one more kill, they can get around this very troubling corner. And look, Sadak, if he wants to get back to his other frontliner, he's going to have to go across no man's land here, and he can get punished very quickly. He's got to be really careful how he positions right here, because Mutu starts to come forward. Spunky finds a kill into Hecate, and here's Sadak trying to push forward. He will find Spunky, so is it worth it is the question. Dread Serpent also being used. Navi is sticking with this payload, though.
And actually, Mutu is pushing up there right now. The sniper going in, looking for Puliuli about to find him as well. Actually takes out Phoenix Creative, so we'll take over. And that Dead Zone just denies all these choke points where Burrito Esports would otherwise be able to hold, because if they stand in them, they're not getting any healing. And look at that ceiling going straight up to the high ground, just forcing people out, Shift.
This Victor pick is just not, man, it's just not showing the same kind of prowess that it was.
I would have preferred to see Victor on a flank, honestly, Shift. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. The Victor, it's doing work right, but the fact is Hecate on Cassie is a completely different story to Fuzzy Logic on Cassie right now, and if Fuzzy was on a flank like they had been last game, maybe there'd be a different story here.
Mutu flaring, trying to find Sodhawk to see if the team can push forward. A flash comes out. Spunky will convert a headshot onto Puliuli, who's low. Has to back up. Wants one more shot into Hecate. The flare will actually take some damage away and keep him revealed as he goes back into stealth. Wants to find one more shot, but it's actually Crimson who comes back around and finds creatives before Fuzzy Logic can dodge roll through and take down Mutu. Burrito Esports finally getting a defense online.
And that's the big one there for me, Shift. It has to be Fuzzy. It can't be anybody else right now that does end up dealing with this Strix. Who else is going to close the gap? Who else is going to outbox them at close range? Cassie has to turn up big here. Leave. Hecate able to focus down on the Willow, but that's just not happening. Look at the difference in itemization. Sure, there's a rack of 3 for Fuzzy Logic right now, but it's just not enough. And oh my goodness, Sadak barely able to clean up Phoenix, trades her life in return. There's the Inflame as well, already used by Navi. This could be the beginning of the end.
2 ultimates for none, though, and Burrito is still finding a way to stay active in the kill feed as they take 3 more down.
Oof.
So it's just Mutu left alive, and to be honest, he's going to be easily chased, and he'll be staggered away from his team.
Shift, where have the barrages been so far this game? That's a big question for me.
I've seen 2, and none of them have really connected for much.
It's Mutu's positioning is so cautious right now. He knows about that incoming threat, knows that barrage can find them through the stealth as well, and is just being so mindful. Really good play from Navi. But Burrito Esports, this time around, they've got almost all 5 ultimates up, and they might be able to turn it around with comeback mechanic here.
This is just, again, what Cassie can bring to the table if you find open area.
I thought she was about to dodge roll into the fidget spinner there.
I was a little nervous about it too. And that's, again, another unfortunate moment. Like, Fuzzy had the cooldown to dodge roll through. I don't know if he just lost track of where the percentage was. He could have put that into overtime, and then they could have cleaned up the rest of those kills. It's just, again, there have been a couple instances of this throughout this set where Burrito have made small little misplays. You can't afford to do that against Navi.
You got to admit, though, it is pretty intimidating dodge rolling into a barrack with 2 turrets on the objective and a Willow, who by herself has that, I'll do math on the fly here. It's 1300 burst damage from your Nightshade Dead Zone, as well as just 1 weapon shot in less than a second. That's scary.
I always get nervous when you go against your own rule of not doing math on stream.
Look, 8 and 5 I can do. 8 and 5
there you go.
I can just about do. Lazy taking a bit of early focus fire. I like that Puliuli is moving in on them. Take out the barrack. He might be able to have some effect on the objective here. Big shots coming through from Liana. Kate looking to maybe use a barrage if somebody makes line of sight here. And here we go, trying to find the channel onto somebody. Lian just scoots out of the way.
Yeah.
Manifest Destiny. Puliuli being forced back here. Sadak has to go big, but everybody breaks line of sight again. Lazy in a lot of trouble. Gotta burn down the barrack, but again, the bowling ball keeps him alive for a second. Puliuli just about able to clean up, and might this be the beginning of a turnaround for Burrito?
And again, those are some weird decisions from Lazy. He's in a really awkward spot to begin with. You got to look at what's on your team comp. No one's going to be able to come and help you.
Oh
so
my goodness.
If you find yourself in a bad spot, you have to back up and not move forward.
You see how rude this is, by the way, Shift? Mutu is jump shotting with the Strix to make sure that he doesn't give up any more than just a head hitbox during all these engagements. But all the while, it's 70% for Burrito. This is Navi straight back up. Dome Shield goes down. Sadak has no healing. There's a dead zone on the point.
Play.
I mean, Navi just used all of their resources, and down go Burrito.
And here comes Phoenix to clean everything up. Creative's actually finding the last blow. They just need to get Hecate, who's trying to sprint around, but you can see Creative's actually going to pop the ultimate just to make sure he does die. Absolutely worth it, 100%, as this could potentially be this map. 60% and counting. It was 70% for Burrito as they try to come back, but my goodness, Creative's is zoning so much. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to get back in time because there's still so much damage being funneled.
It's just a difficult situation all around here, Shift, and looking at it now, Mutu tries to land the shots on towards this ruckus. Enlightenment comes on through. Sadak goes down. Puliulu contesting one against the world as Hecate is just deleted right there. Double kill for Mutu. Back to the Shadow Realm, they say, and 3-1. What a rebuttal from that Splitstone Quarry game compared to Serpent Beach.
Navi will 100% of the time punish you for misplays, and that is exactly what happens near the end of that game. Really, throughout the entirety, that was Navi controlling space, controlling tempo, and with Mutu going off late, controlling the damage kills as well.
Yeah, really nice adjustment of Mutu just to make sure he could confirm the damage still with that positioning still up on the high ground of Splitstone Quarry. One big thing, though, comes on through for me. This is all about draft right now. The Victor, like I said, I don't think the Victor was the worst pick here. It had actually counterplay potential, as we saw against the Strix, specifically because the anti-stealth mechanic. The one big thing that stands out to me is there was an easy opportunity for Willow to be drafted in to Burrito's composition, and they chose to let it go. They could have run triple DPS, but that's just not what they're comfortable with.
And they haven't done much of it, really, in the last 6 months. We always typically see Sadhack Puliuli running a off-tank with that damage kind of build, most notably the Ruckus, but beyond that, it's just one of those things that when you see, it's kind of like for me, like when Tolhi was playing Buck yesterday, it's like, yeah, he can, but is it going to match up to the same level that a Navi brings to the table? I just don't think it will.
It's still, at the end of the day, it's still a Willow. You put dead zone on the point, and then how much do you save? The difficulty there is you're boxing out against the Strix. Again, it's intimidating. We saw Fuzzy Logic being pretty intimidated by some of the plays and just by some of the point stack potential that Navi will bring out throughout that game shift. I don't know. Gonna have to find a way for Burrito to bring it back if they want to type the series yet again.
The Burrito boys in a little bit of trouble, but they still have some room to breathe. That was game number 3 of a best-of-5 set. Up 2-1 is Navi. Back to the desk we go.
Well, thank you so much, Alox or Van. I'll call, either one. You guys decide. Let me know next cast which one you want me to go with. Me and Gore here, the party boys, have been having a blast watching the way this set has been unfolding. I think Navi bouncing back like that was what they needed to do, and it looks like they have firmly grabbed command of the set again.
And that's kind of that bounce back, like you said, that you really need in that moment. You're kind of demoralized going into that, but you choose a map that you're like, man, last time we faced these guys on this map competitively, went swimmingly for us. You get pretty much the exact same kind of repeat on that. A lot of it, I feel like, fell apart kind of in the draft when it came down to the fact that Strix didn't really have an answer on the side of Burrito.
I mean, this is the map, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the map that they won Game 7 on.
Yes.
Yeah, so that means that these guys are going back to just old haunting memories for
Not only are we going to outdraft you, but we're going to take you back to the ghosts of the past.
We're going to take you back to where we beat you, boy. And see what comes up. And it really was, I think, a show of Mutu's performance, but it also just shows the impact that Furia had. I think that Inara on any open space map like this, when you have so much room to cover, is rough. And I think Sadak had a tough job to do, especially the position Ruckus has been put in. They asked a lot of them, they got a lot, but they didn't get close to enough. And Hecate, for one of the only times I think you'll ever say, had a relatively quiet performance.
I feel like Navi did one thing, and that was diversification of threats. Who do you want to shoot? Do you want to shoot the Lian that's doing a lot of damage to you? The Strix that's doing a lot of damage to you? Or the Willow that's doing a lot of damage to you?
Great point.
You have 3 people you have to focus down. And the biggest problem I have for Burrito is that they had an answer somewhat to some of those. Like if Ruckus gets the flank, maybe he takes down Strix. If Victor gets the shots, maybe he can take down Strix or Willow. But it's just in those areas where it's like, well, those are very Burrito champions.
Yeah.
But they didn't fit the strategy you needed to take that team down.
It was tough because I think the Furia, is a very impactful champion. Has clearly been, I thought, was the big, keystone for why her and Khan and Burrito were able to do so well in Game 2 of Game 2. And I think in Game 3 here, having that go to Navi was rough. And obviously Willow in creatives. Creatives, in my opinion, has been the MVP for Navi thus far. He's played out of his mind in Game 2. He's played out of his mind in Game 3. And I think that he is going to continue to be that guy that either makes or breaks whether Navi move past this round.
And it's a lot of his flexibility. Him and I want to say Phoenix specifically, being able to just, hey, this is what we're going to have you play this game.
Totally.
And then you go into it. And that's one of the things. You have Mutu, who I think you can expect very specific champions out of. It's a much wider variety now.
Right.
But you're still, this is the kind of play he's going to go for. This is who he's looking at. Whereas you get creatives, and it's like, creatives, we want you on Bomb King this game. Okay, Bomb King's taken away. Go to something else. And literally insert a champion. You go in and make the big difference. Right now, if you are Burrito coming into this as well, you have to think, okay, they have this flexibility. We can't just straight up ban them. We have to look at the map, figure out what's going to work there, and try to control the draft just a little bit more.
You know what's so interesting, too, Gormizer, is it seems like these teams really flex on the map. I mean, the map and basically first pick, second pick. It's not that the drafts necessarily separate them.
Yeah.
But they put them in. They usually all get something they can use, or so to speak, like win the game with. And I think when you go to maps being the decider, it creates for some really interesting things. I think somebody's obviously going to have to win on the other team's map pick in order to truly turn this set around. Have Burrito looked like they're able to do that today?
I think on any map other than Splitstone, yes. But that was one where it was very, it fell out of hand. There were moments where it's like, if this was Stone Keep, if this was Brightmarsh, if this was Frog Isle or wherever, then your draft actually works a lot better there. You have a bigger chance. You go to Splitstone and it's like, man, just not enough movement to get into the back line, not enough to shut down what they picked up.
Well, there's only one more opportunity for Burrito Esports, as that win puts Navi one win away from moving on into the grand finals and knocking Burrito not out of the tournament, but into the losers bracket. Boy, oh boy, what if we saw Navi Burrito again in the grand finals and they reset and we saw 2 best-of-7? That would be ridiculous.
Man, that would be a great day of Paladins, though.
Too many good games. I think it'd be an overload.
Too many?
Yeah.
We'd have to actually shut down the broadcast for a month to let people catch up.
Exactly. We'd have to then broadcast a bunch of really bad games just to make up for it. There's just, you have to have a balance, and this would be just too excellent of a performance. But I'm not complaining now. Navi and Burrito having obviously one ban apiece thus far. It's the Buck and the Khan. I would expect they leave Furia open potentially, but it's interesting. Burrito have elected for that second pick. And so leaving the option for Navi to pick Furia again if they do not ban it through this phase.
So Khan, Buck, I expect Makoa more than likely, because that's been what Navi have been going to. I mean, every single game it's just been Khan, Makoa for them.
Right.
But if they do change it up, this is one of those maps, again, looking back towards champions that we haven't seen a lot. Shaolin, I think, is really good on this map. Bomb King is really good on this map. If Burrito are kind of following suit with what they've been doing, I wouldn't be surprised if this was similar to last game, where that next ban is going to be for the Bomb King.
This Sonara was a pretty big comfort pick, and I think Navi going for the frontline bans is because Burrito do not flex triple DPS very often. When they flex their third damage dealer, so to speak, on like a Pule Ule or Sadak, playing either an Inara, obviously, as the mainstay, or something like a Khan or a Barrack towards, or a Fernando, an aggressive tank. And so Navi taking 2 out of the 8 tanks that are in Paladins in the ban phase really means that Burrito are a lot less flexible. And I think that's why you see a Bomb King ban instead of the Makoa, because that essentially eliminates another great tank that would be available for them.
Now Navi have that option again. You're looking at, I want to say Fnatic. I feel like Makoa is something you really highly prioritize because the other team knows so much about it.
Yeah.
Navi, I think, have to prioritize it mainly because I think Burrito have a phenomenal Makoa, and it's one of those areas where he's going to be good on your team. You're going to be able to make it work. You might have better front lines on some other champions, but Makoa is really good if given to the other side. Burrito are kind of setting themselves up to get at least 1 or 2 picks here that they can really want.
You know, but the thing is, it's like, okay, you ban the Makoa, but then maybe they take the Barrack, and you don't have as much flexibility on something like a Sadak who you want to play that. So I think now Burrito, I think, are going to actually lean. Here's the question. Do you go Sadak's Terminus here?
That's actually exactly what I was thinking. It's one of those things, and again, this is going back to this semifinal in the World Championship. Navi were beating Burrito. It was not looking good. They go to Ice Mines, pretty different than Jaguar Falls, but it is that Terminus pick that comes through that makes a big difference for them. And if you can play Terminus, I want to say akin to Tolkien's Terminus, right? And you bring that here, that damage, that amount, it changes so much in the game.
I think that's what they're setting up for, Gore. I mean, I'd place a bet on that because you have Pulioli's Fernando, Furia, and you're expecting them to run a double tank. So I think that secondary tank is going to be that, and they're expecting most likely Navi to, if they compete with the double tank, to shift one of those tanks as the Barrack, and I think that will be the key. I'm not sure Burrito, although they've tried it, is comfortable with the Fernando Barrack. I don't know how much that gives you, especially if Navi have a little bit more sustain, and that's just going to be the Barrack grab. So far, Burrito might have expected what's unfolded here.
And I kind of, again, agree. Terminus, at this point, I think gets even more appetizing because most of the time Terminus likes to go Bulldozer, and that helps deal with
the question, though,
of those turrets.
I mean, I just want to ask you a question. Do you last pick it, or do you take it now and then flex your damage later?
That's a tough choice. I feel like...
Yeah, they take it now.
Yeah, now I think is the better choice because, like
right
you said,
on, man. High five.
You flex that last one, and it gives you that ultimate ability. You already know Terminus is going to fit in right here.
Yeah.
I feel like Navi kind of feel like Terminus is going to fit in right here. Leon, she's relatively standard, no matter what you have. This lets you go into something that we might not have seen. You know, you can look at the Talus that we have seen Burrito pull out, that we've seen G2 pull out on this map and have success with. You look at some of these flanks that might not be as big, or you can just go for another DPS. You can grab up like a Shaolin.
I mean, you're probably going to see a Zen Damba here, I would expect. Or, you know, a Zen Genos could work. They're not running that traditional triple DPS. They are running it with the Makoa, and because of the 2 front lines and the non-traditional third DPS, I have a feeling they may rush into that Damba, but it is the Genos. It is the Zen. So they do opt for it. They're going to basically translate Lazy into that Barrack and say, go, do your thing, shoot, use that beautiful aim of yours while we brought you onto this team in the first place. And Burrito now have to respond. Is it the Willow? Is it the Drogos?
I mean, there's so many options that I think feel good here.
It's the Drogos.
I like both. Either Drogos or Willows. I like where they're going with the Drogos, but I'm curious again, is this going to be Fusillade? Are we going to see Combustible? I don't think we're going to see anything we haven't seen out of that already. I think it's going to be one of the two.
It's interesting. This is a great map for Combustible, but Makoa is a really good counter with it with that big shell shield that can block everyone on a very small point. Be interesting to see what they choose here as the casters are ready. It's time for Alox to take the mic for Game 4.
Did we decide how much we like better?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a better name there.
What did we go with?
Something Van Halen-y.
Van
Works a bit of a pop, chop it all up. Anyway, folks, look.
What? What are you? Were those words?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's just
we're lost if your production's confused. I don't know what's going on. Here's what I know.
You chop them up.
Here's what I know. Terminus is 0-8. Will it be 1-8, or will it just be the end of Burrito's winner's bracket?
This might be Burrito's Terminus.
I don't know what you were trying to say right there, Fox.
It's all about, for people who are listening, it makes more sense with the hand movements.
Does it? I don't think it does. I quit. Here we go. Jaguar Falls, map number 4. Burrito have to find a way to get this one going for him. It's just so hard to take away the Lazy Phoenix combo on the point, especially when it's a Leviathan.
Look at that Combustible as well. And a Decimation Terminus. Okay, got him Master Riding going on there, going for the Decimation, trying to maybe force out the Cassia with a bit of a Calamity Blast bop potential right there. 2-1 to Navi in this set. Straight to the objective is Sadhak, as you might expect. Oh dear, Phoenix is posturing for a hook off the map. Might not be able to find it. Sadhak is just kind of looking at nothing right now. Let's see if we can tune in with maybe the Cassie as well here as they're trying to go for peripheral flank.
This Necromantic Might is absolutely devastating. He's able to soak up so much damage and get those 4 charges without really expending much. in the fuel tank when it comes to that power siphon, 21%. But again, Terminus does not have the greatest mobility ever. It has to be very careful and has to pick its moments as far as when they want to go. And here's a moment able to take down Mudu, and a big heal from Crimson right behind. The power siphon will back him up. Another cherish coming through, and Akate able to punish one, looking to punish two. It's just the turtle left on the right-hand side. He'll get taken down. Spunky, you're slippery, but are you slippery enough? It looks like no, as Fuzzy Logic is able to find a delayed double kill. 63% and counting up for Burrito.
Looking good so far. Just has to zone for the time being. Shooting rockets into the wall, not the best way to do that. On the objective, though, there is contest coming through as Barrack has returned to the fray. Rocket boots and bowling ball keeping them safe. Mutu's around. They know they're waiting for him. Akate is going to really try and root him out, but Mutu's actually looping around a little bit faster than anybody can get there. No Immortal up just yet. No big ultimates coming off cooldown, but look at Burrito. They've almost got the Inflame.
Wow, look at that. And Sadhak was able to chase down Lazy and now wants to push into Phoenix. He does get pulled and gripped, but the power siphon is good. The cherish is good behind it, and the damage is even better. Akate able to throw it on Enlightenment. It does connect for Spunky's HP pull, and Burrito are making me eat my words. This Fernando Terminus has played absolutely flawless so far.
You know, I kind of like the Terminus into Barrack specifically when you're running Decimation because it's free charge. The turrets just shoot it. 600 less damage per charge of Calamity Blast as well. You just sit there, charged up a few, and then you can dump all of that damage onto a squishy if they're in line of sight. Phoenix also now very low. Through time and space coming through, does not connect onto anybody. Sadok finds one. Mutu takes out Puleuli, and Mutu is looking for a flank here as I think Burrito Esports are going to wisely disengage with this flanker kind of posturing for the Lian.
They need to be careful. I mean, Mudu is playing very smart as well, but he can absolutely devastate somebody who gets caught out lingering a little bit too long. And Sakate's finding that out very quickly. The Billow was there. Able to get some regeneration around the corner. Akate wants a challenge, but it's the smite. Mudu says, not on my watch, my friend. I'll take you down easy peasy, no problems. A minute 30 on the clock, and now Fuzzy Logic in some trouble, and Navi getting so aggressive and showing why Mudu is a force to be reckoned with.
Good shield there, but again, Mutu is behind everybody. Puliuli's just going to be staggered out here if they're not careful. Terminus comes back, tries to go in with the save of Power Siphon, but it's just not fast enough, and look at this stagger coming through. I mean, Burrito Esports, you got to get out of there. You just got to wait for everybody to regroup and come on through as mid-round buys might be doing something. Double wrecker for Fuzzy Logic and Akate at rank 2. Sadak sitting on currently the Rejuvenate 2 as well, but again, it's just not quite enough.
Oh, look at that follow-up. The punish coming out as Sadak is able to use that big overhead Shatterfall, and a sprint right in the back line of it comes Fernando to finish off a kill, but again, look how slippery Mudu. He's in the back line once again.
Looking for the Lian here, maybe tries to go and whirl straight on through Sadak, who does end up perishing to Creatives after taking out Mutu. So a bit of an even trade there. Creatives finding a second kill in this engagement. And being missed by Akate, there are a few uncharacteristic missed shots right there, Shifts.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. The Cherish shield is so huge. But Phoenix on the right side flank wants to get right into Furia's face. We'll find a hook, but is there enough damage to follow up?
Shield.
Wow, great shell shield, but even better Fernando shield to keep Furia alive. So posturing now for positioning, and so far, again, you can take a look. They're stalled in the middle of the map as Burrito Esports. 10 seconds left until they can get to the payload for overtime. And with more kills coming out for Mudu, I just don't know if anyone's going to be able to really touch this.
Oh, no. Creatives goes down there after Mudu, and Creatives find a couple, but Mutu keeps on just picking up kills. He's always there. Nobody's able to deal with this in because they run away so fast. I almost want to see the Victor pick come out at this rate shift that can kind of sprint and hustle around after them as Navi defends successfully. It's all tied up 1-1.
Looking really solid, Mudu. My goodness, you're incredible. Able to find so much damage.
Oh my God. The shell shield positioning there as well. It's perfect play.
And it's the ability to know what teammates are near him and what he can trust that his opponent, his friends are going to do for him while he able to get back, get the cooldowns refreshed, chase back in, find the kills, and just looking as cool as a cucumber.
I'm just not really bothered by anything right now, the rest of Navi should be pretty confident after that defense coming back into it as well. It's ultimates to the favor of Navi with all 5 right now. Damage dealt heavily favoring Creatives. This Cassie, bit of a silent wonder right now. Silent one-hit wonder has we're seeing a lot of damage come through, and a bit of cleanup here. But Mutu has been the focus on Navi throughout the entire duration shift.
He's been by far the biggest X factor for this team, I think, over the last recent history. To be completely candid, Lazy, of course, the most recent addition, has brought something different to the front line. Voodoo trying to charge up that Yomi strike to find a way in the backline. Sadhak getting poked out right on top of one as Lazy comes through time and space, not going to connect. And a little bit of trouble here as Navi's used a lot and not found much at the back end of it.
Inflame is ready as well. This could be the re-engage opportunity from Burrito as now they've got all 5 ultimates as well. And here it comes. Inflame has been channeled. Mutu tries to box over here and finds a kill onto Akate there. That's a big one. Dome Shield stops the contest from being too far in the favor of Burrito Esports on the objective, and Creatives cleans up Fuzzy Logic.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay there from Fuzzy. He wanted to get deep. You can see where his dead body is. Just the max and Ancient Rage right in the face of Sadhak. How are you going to contest this? The answer is he's not going to be able to. Will we see the reanimate? Yes, we will. But Phoenix has already moved into the backline, and Crimson has nowhere to go. But what? The Immortal save was absolutely huge, but pulled back. Phoenix, you're nuts. Still able to get cleaned up though. 66% for Burrito, but it's Navi on point. Lazy is getting them to above 50.
No support. That's the big deal right now. And Spunky is still alive, but it's throughput healing shift compared to the big burst from Furia. Nice Fire Spit takes down Mutu. 84% to Burrito Esports, now ticking up in favor of them once again. Anyway, the contest, Lazy's too far away. Can somebody get in there? I don't think so. Burrito Esports 2-1 on the objective. Captures right now, leading the charge.
Oh, Akate, I think he wants an Enlightenment really bad. The combustible damage is good. The little bit of fire over time from Pulioli is good. And the shield, the power siphon was there to keep him alive. And Crimson says, this is an easy target to heal up. Now let's hit the gas pedal, move on forward. They're looking for Mutu, but man, is he so slippery.
This is a really dangerous situation for Burrito as well, because they want to hit the gas. They want to trap Navi in their base, break this choke point, but if they go too far up, they'll be out of line of sight of Crimson. And oh my god, these hooks keep on coming through. What a save. Furia ends up saving Akate there as well with a damage immunity from Enlightenment. Mutu in the backline as well, getting pushed away by this Necromantic Might buff Decimation Tyrannus.
Voodoo trying to get away with the Billow, but there are so many red jerseys around him. They get a full team wipe. Oh my goodness, but before that, it was the Enlightenment with splash damage. It didn't find a full kill, but it took Makoa down to very low. It helps Spunky get taken down, who's low once more. Lazy gets stunned. He has to use the rocket boots, and he goes forward instead of backwards. No one can touch it. Burrito Esports find a way to sneak it through. They're up 3-1.
What a play there, Shift. That's just momentum, momentum, momentum. It's what Team Envy was saying earlier in their interview. That's what it's all about, and if you can maintain it, you can keep everybody trapped in their spawns. One thing that we didn't really remark on there is we had the Inflame come on through, but Crimson knows exactly where those spawn doors are on Jaguar Falls, and was sending out Pyre Strike after Pyre Strike just to make sure that people had to spend that extra second in base as it travels through, otherwise they get dismounted and stunned.
That's what happened to Lazy. He found that out very quickly. He was taken down almost instantly upon respawn, and now Navi need to find a response. Again, being down 2 points, they will capture at a rate of 4% per tick instead of 3, so they do have kind of what I like to call the sixth man element.
Big problem right now, though, is that it's Wrecker 3 coming through for Burrito Esports on 2 members. They're going to chew through shields very, very quickly, and Phoenix's shell shields have been important so far. Also, back on his healing charge Shift, it's all about Furia, but I mean, there's not much that you can heal up if Sadhak goes down that quickly.
And he wanted to push aggressively. I like the call. Hakate was there to try to follow up, but it's just simply Phoenix pulling him in to a really unfortunate spot, and that was enough to get one kill. Look at this capture percentage, Fox. It's already up to 58%, and they need to find some way to get into contest. Well, this is free capture.
Pulioli's got to get the Immortal up, then you can use your Dragon Punch, but Mutu's going in looking for Crimson here. Force back out into the Billow real fast. Here comes through time and space Shift as well, looking for the re-engage. Phoenix holding the angle right now. Big Fire Spit ends up hitting Cassie. Spite onto Terminus, I think. Creative activates the Scout as well, but it takes so much focus fire in return. Dragon Punch is ready, but Mutu is ready and waiting there as well. Immortal is here, but Pulioli on a 7 streak right now is trying to contest versus Lazy as the rest of his team drops all around him, and Creatives goes insane.
Ooh, and looking for the dash and Enlightenment, but Lazy's able to dodge away, but somehow Akate gets a little bit of damage found, but Phoenix is still full HP. He finds 2 kills. Wow, what a clutch trigger there from Lazy to get that Dome Shield down just in the nick of time and surviving. Navi get the point. They're only down 1, and look at Phoenix. He wants this left side.
Shift, I don't know what to tell you from that last fight. And all in all, Fuzzy Logic had the opportunity with the Immortal up for Fernando to be able to hit the gas pedal, hit that ultimate Dragon Punch, go in and just deal with Lazy, deal with Phoenix, so we didn't have to deal with Dome Shield or Ancient Rage or anything like that, but instead they hold everything back, and Navi capitalized, especially because of that comeback mechanic.
Now Fuzzy Logic wants to make sure that he can keep that face statue, the right side prospectively for them, at least in their favor, but Lazy finds Hakate. And look at this, it opens up right down the gut, and that's exactly where they're coming. Lazy's going right into the face of Sadhak, says, bring it on, big boy, and pulled into danger. The environment will stop some of that from being fully realized, and Sadhak says, thank you very much, as he likely would have fallen there. And the man, Navi's got this positioning that Burrito found so successful for them. Navi's doing it right back to them.
Burrito has barely any ultimates as well. They've got Inflame, they've got Reanimate, 2 ultimates which could be used to hold the bridge here, Shift, but Dragon Punch is down, and they need that as well as Immortal to be ready for the next capture objective. Good poke coming through, narrow missed hook from Phoenix, nice fireball onto Spunky, but look at Lazy's positioning here, so aggressive, and with all the support in the world, does end up going down. Creatives onto Smack though, finds Crimson, that's huge.
And Akate finds 2, now he's throwing on forward, finding a triple kill. Can he potentially find 4? It looks like he might just hand the baton over to Fuzzy to poke everybody back, but no, it's Akate finding the delayed quadra kill on the right-hand side of the map after that Inflame was triggered, and it might just be enough to keep this defense stabilized, but Lazy was mounted, he's in secret, but he's by himself. If he gets punished here, this is really bad for Navi.
I don't know why the Burrito Esports aren't chasing this actually. Phoenix is splitting them right now. They had the opportunity to take out Lazy with some AoE damage, but instead they let Lazy get peak positioning here. This is really bad for Burrito. They've almost got the Immortal up. That could be the saving grace here if they need to use it to keep themselves ahead. Fuzzy Logic back to full health. Big fire spit coming out. Can he knock Phoenix off the map? Barely surviving, but that puts Phoenix in a position to pull them in with a hook. Maybe the Ancient Rage will come out here. Shift, this could be huge. One more shot will do it, but Phoenix finds the kill. Creatives is there to back them up. This is not good for Burrito.
Creatives with 3, and Phoenix is still alive. Do you reanimate here? The decision making has to come through, and I don't think he will. The payload's gonna push, but goodness, Creatives talking about bailing out his team right there. Phoenix barely almost got the kill, but Creatives finds 1, cleans up the 2nd and 3rd immediately after, and finally this Cassie is having the impact that we expect seeing, shutting down the Dragon Punch as well with the free opening here onto Crimson. Goodness, Creatives, welcome back.
How do you respond to that much burst potential? And again, Immortal just used too late. Dragon Punch was being channeled.
Yeah.
Puli was close enough, but out of line of sight. Shift. That's the critical thing right now, so you got to be so careful. And now, looking at Burrito Esports and Navi, this is set point. If Navi take this one, they take the series, they advance through the bracket. Burrito Esports, they're not out just yet. They are in the upper side. They got one more shot at this, but you want to go the distance if you can.
Absolutely you do. You got yourselves a pretty stark advantage.
Got a lot of ultimates on the table. So do Navi. Dome Shield has just come up as well, so it's pretty much an even field. Creatives again leading the damage charts right here. Big ol' Phoenix and that big beefy Makoa rolling around the outside. Sadak taking some initial poke. Look at Creatives. Creatives has the best positioning possible right here. Nobody can contest them, but round the outside, here comes Fuzzy Logic. Dragon Punch is ready, as is Immortal. For me, this is when Burrito Esports, they gotta hit the go button.
Through time and space finds Crimson, though that's huge, and Creatives finds the duel against Akate. A spike comes out on the point. Puliuli and Sadak fall, and Fuzzy Logic has to retreat, but it's not over yet. 42% is what it got to for Burrito. That's a good number to get a retake going, but look at where Navi going. Phoenix is doing exactly what Cuss Cutie did earlier on Ice Mine. He wants to get up and aggressive and make sure nobody can stay mounted. This zone is incredible, and he finds a pull.
This is huge. Shift. Somebody's got to get there. Sadak tries to dodge around, but they've already been dismounted. Crimson with the big heals. Phoenix is backing off, but again, it's the Ancient Rage, which is so huge. Dragon Punch comes in. Fuzzy Logic's just got to find their way through, but Lazy shuts them down midair. Can Akate find the kill? Down goes the Dome Shield. All right, Akate says, I'll retreat from there. Tries to deal with Mutu on the objective. Ancient Rage is Ancient Raging. Reanimate has just come up. Sadak can hold on. Phoenix takes down Crimson. Hekate finds Creatives. Mutu
gotta reanimate if you're here, though.
It has to happen. It has to go now, and here we go. Sadak comes back to the fight straight up.
Fuzzy
Big damage
Logic
negated by all of those shields.
Fuzzy Logic trying to make his way back through Puliuli. You need to sprint forward. There's no more life for Sadak. Crimson has to get here. Oh, Puliuli will be able to come back up, but Sadak falls. Crimson on his mount trying to stay forward.
Mutu again.
Navi is giving themselves some zone. Oh, but Fernando stepped off the point for just a brief second, and Navi is going into the grand finals.
Oh my goodness, Shift. To lose that game based off of the slow that Fernando has active when your shield is up, that is devastating right there.
Man.
Close
Moments,
game.
the closest of games.
And
Holy
Akate
smokes.
found Mutu just before that as well. No Zin. That could have been a retake.
Very well could have, but huge trigger from Spunky, able to get the through time and space onto Crimson. There was no way for the frontliners to stand up. And wow, what an incredible set from both of these teams. The rematch from the finals, or semifinals rather, of HRX. It goes almost a distance here, but not quite. Burrito falls, but it's only like Vox was saying, in the winner's bracket, they still have some life in the bottom side of the bracket.
Such a close call right there, and this will be really interesting. We've seen the fact that Burrito are able to go toe-to-toe with Navi. A few decision-makings here or there, but their mechanical performance and their strategy execution, when it's on point, it can't be contested. They're a very impressive team, and I can't wait to see how they continue to innovate, and maybe if this is a good experience for them to be able to stabilize through the rest of the bracket.
And it's going to be really difficult. I mean, you look at all 5 names on the side of Navi. very experienced players, able to play a variety of heroes, and of course Mutu coming out huge. So many moments on this Xin. Might be the biggest impact player so far that we've seen, specifically on Xin. We'll have to see what the desk thinks as we have one of our potential 2 grand finalists.
Incredible. I mean, you just take a look at those little moments. The 3-2 hold. Fuzzy Logic and Phoenix are dueling there. Either a Makoa or a Drogos makes it out alive, and it ends up being the Makoa. And again, it ends up being Navi, who really, by a toe's length, end up making it into the grand finals. But what a performance from them.
And I think as rough as it is, like as Burrito, to lose literally just one step away,
Yeah.
it's probably the most appropriate ending to a set like this, where it really is just the small things that make the biggest difference. These two teams are incredibly well matched for each other, but this time around, Navi not only put themselves in the finals, but they take advantage of this, potentially seeing Burrito again. It's not done for them, but they have one more set if they do want to make it to the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, they're so... I could see why Burrito has so much respect for Navi, and it's just the seamless nature of clinical play. It doesn't feel like it's hard. It feels effortless, but Navi are doing something so special every single time that they're even positioning themselves. It's very, very difficult to break into their backline. You notice Spunky rarely died in that game, and it was to credit to Navi for continuously being that rigid, that discipline with their formation. And again, they have one of the best players in the world, I think, and he was the MVP back when this whole tournament took place that they beat him last time, and he's acting like the MVP this time. It's Creatives, and he is a monster on any champion you put him on.
He just adapts so well in-game to scenarios that you have to make those decisions on the fly, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just, do I go in, do I fall back? Do I take this shot? Do I try to, like, do I reload now? And this was in those areas where there were just so many instances where there's no reason that you want to go in there. You just saw Drogos. You knew his health bar. I'm going to go around this corner. It might not be the best position for me, but I come out with 2 kills. That's what matters most. You go in and you make those plays. And there were so many times that he made plays that I think otherwise
Amazing.
Navi might have given this game up.
Yeah, and that's not even Creatives. I mean, it's not even Phoenix who gets the shot. It's Creatives who comes in at the end. I mean, he played such an integral part of this win.
Yeah.
You know, Navi are so I think, geared towards being the dominant LAN team this year if they can just keep this up. They're really one more LAN win away from all three big LANs going their way. That would be like, that's the Triple Crown. That's the Grand Slam.
You get all the international ones, right? Like the PPL ones.
That's crazy.
You're like, you know what? We'll shrug off a PPL loss. That's okay. We can come in, win Worlds. Then we win the next one in the Spring Masters. Then we win the Summer Finals. Like, and then you start looking towards like HRX, and you're like, can anybody actually beat these guys when it comes to the big stage?
That would be crazy, and they would be the only team able to win, and what will probably only ever be until we change the date, or if we change the date of HRX again, 2 World Championships in the same
1 year.
That's going to be nutty, man. Navi are doing something historic here and an incredible run from them. And you can see why they have so many fans around the world and they have so much respect from international regions and teams. But that doesn't mean that Burrito are out. Burrito, if you're still hoping or wishing for them, will continue their run in the losers bracket finals. That will be a best of 5, but we'll have to take you to another game first, which is going to be, I believe, Fnatic versus Envy to battle out who will be facing Burrito when they get there.
Either way, you end up in a set, again, against a team that is going to be phenomenal. Envy as well as Fnatic are both incredible teams, and whoever ends up winning that one, Burrito, I mean, they already have beaten Fnatic once, but it was a relatively close set. I would give it to them. Envy are in this area where the bottom brackets where they tend to shine bright.
Envy do seem to shine bright. And at this point, Fnatic have to be ready to show up big. It is a best of 3, and we'll get to that right after we take a listen to what the interview of the winners have to say. How did Navi feel after making a spot in the grand finals for themselves?
Well, first and foremost, Lazy Phoenix, congratulations. Our first grand finalists here in the summer finals. I'm sure it feels a little familiar as that happened back in the spring as well. But it seems like you guys are really clicking now. I mean, a lot of resilience from Burrito, but you guys kept your cool throughout.
Yeah, it's. I think I've said it before, last LANs and like LANs before, is that once we get together, we click. And of course, we had a new member in Lazy now. And the longer we are here, the more we're clicking. And it's only getting better from here on out together. So I'm enjoying it so far.
So guys, big question from me is we had that whole reset of Game 2 on Serpent Beach, and When you came back, Burrito Esports, they took that 4-0. What was it like to be able to come back from that? Take the fight to Splitstone. How was your recovery?
I mean, the game was tough. It's always tough to reset your mind after a remake in a game, particularly a full reset, because you start from scratch and they already know a few of your openings, and of course you do from them as well. They adapted really well to our openings, and they became stronger after the remake. And we knew that this match was just already, like, that's just how it works. You lose some, you win some, and we just had to reset our mind and come back in Splitstone and take our map.
We also, I mean, when we played the first round, we was actually pretty close, and then when we did the remake, we just got completely snowballed from the beginning, and it was like, it was really, really like demolishing, and it just got to the point where we were like, okay, this is actually pretty hard to come back from, and we tried our best, but in the end it was like, okay, this is kind of over, kind of. Like,
we were joking yesterday, Lazy, specifically about you now just being quote-unquote just a point tank. That had to feel a little bit more than just a point tank going up against people like Pulio and Sadhak, who had so much pressure from so many different sides. What kind of adjustments did you guys make from that kind of split double frontline that was going up against you?
Well, that's actually a tough question. Actually, do?
Well, especially in the last map, we kind of went back to the double tank as well, and I'm just really happy right now with my team actually trusting me on the third DPS. It's been a process, and they've been helping me to like form me into this DPS player, and they learned, like, they teach me in a way to how to play against a double tank, because I have to create pressure on my own. Before I was a tank, it was much easier to do, got a bigger health pool, and now they teach me how to do it as a carry, so I could prevent some of the pressure getting too lazy, so you can just stand on point.
And get Genos healed. I need heal, I need heal, I need heal.
So we've really seen this evolution of playstyle, especially for you, Phoenix, and some real showstopper performers throughout every member of your team. But quick question to you, did it feel good to be back on Mako? That's what we knew you for such a long time. How was it to get the turtle back under your control?
It's always fun to get Mako, especially since he's one of the most contested champions like in the realm. And to get him, it's always fun because there's a lot of pressure on you. There's pressure to perform, and Mako has been struggling on this lane. I'm just glad that I got this win, and it just felt good to hook some people in.
Well, a great performance all around, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you guys play again. And as we've said, you have now qualified for the finals. We'll see you back again tomorrow. In the meantime,